hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Hey, first off, man, we want to thank, all the listeners, especially the listeners, our A1 listeners, and all the new listeners out there, man. I'm gonna start this off a little bit different, man. I'm gonna introduce everybody, man. First, I'm gonna introduce the multi-talented, everyone's command Senior Chief, Damo. Right? I'm also, every time she steps out, she's trying to find out where the camera at. Tish. And, myself, of course, Damon. You guys already know what it is, Mississippi Stand Up. All right. Hey, so I got a lot of shots out, man, today. Man, I want to get some shots out, but, you guys know already we got a guest today, man. My very own Command Master Chief, Charles Smith, a.k.a. Chubbs, a.k.a. the biggest Bears fan ever, a.k.a. he was born April the 1st. Come on, man.
No doubt.
Get out of here. What's really good? You guys already know what it is. The Chief's birthday? Come on now. Hey,
all day,
before
man.
we get into it, man, I do got some shots out, man. But my shots out today, man, is 2024, man. It's crazy right now, man. We starting out this thing out with Cat Williams, man. We going puffy, man. We going like, no shit, man. Like, the music that's out right now. Man, Beyonce ain't turned off in my house today, man. Like, Beyonce been rolling all day. You know what I'm saying? We got Future out there. We got some rap beef out there, man. It's crazy, man. 2024 is kicking it off right now, man. What you guys got, man? What you guys got for this week, man?
I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm trying to weaponize my emotions. You know what I mean? I was just talking to my wife about that. I got to weaponize my emotions. So, I just drove home from Norfolk. I just drove home from Norfolk. And I had, they gave me my itinerary, and my dumbass, I never took a second to look at my itinerary, and I realized that I'm flying out. Now, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and because maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to see if this makes sense. So I'm flying out to I'm going to school, right, Chubbs? I'm going to CMC Cobb in Newport, Rhode Island. But I'm flying out. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm flying out from Norfolk, but I live in the DC area, right? I geo-badge, so I'm stationed in Norfolk. I live in the DC area. So they got me the flight ticket to fly out from damn Norfolk, right? Which means that I got to take a 3-hour drive to Norfolk just to get to the airport and fly out, right? So now my ultimate duty station, I got to say I don't want to say my ultimate duty station.
Just say the location.
They flying me into, so I'm going to go to Newport. And then we go to Millington. We got the new I stop they added in Millington. And I'm leaving Millington. Then they flying me into my ultimate damn duty station, which is another hike from the crib. Right? So, and I guess they got to do that.
Yeah, I'm not what is a DTS guru and stuff like that. But I do know that common sense do not prevail when it comes to naval travel sometimes. And it's all about them dollars, man. Whatever cheapest ticket, whatever cheapest seat they could give you on a flight, that's what they booking you, man. And it's terrible. But sometimes, if you get in there early enough, you can make modification changes as long as they don't go over a certain dollar amount. Again, I'm no guru. I don't know the dollar amount, but sometimes you go in there and change your flight, and it's still good to do.
Yeah, they told me to call NATO. They told me to call NATO, and I'm gonna have to
NATO.
You call him NATO. Hey, he taking us to war, man.
Hey,
we about to go to war.
I'm calling NATO, man. So they told me to call Sato, right? And they said I'm gonna have to pay extra money, right? They said I'm gonna have to pay extra money. So look, Sato, check it out, man. Listen to me, y'all. Have a heart, man. Have a heart. Yeah, I just called y'all NATO a second ago, but have a heart, man. I'm emotionally distraught right now, and I ain't seen my baby in 3 weeks, so have a heart for me, man. Like, give me something slim on them tickets, man.
Right.
That's how it works. They'll only fly you from duty station to duty station, but like they say, if you call NATO, they can kind of work out
Sato?
with. Say you got me call me NATO.
Well, our last episode. So listen. Let's add some. Our last episode, our guest worked at NATO. It is just in my head. Okay. That's what happened. Man.
But yeah, if you call Sato, they can work it out to where. But you're gonna have to pay money though if it's a cost difference, because the Navy ain't gonna eat that cost.
That's crazy. So that's where I'm at. Ain't nothing else, Damon. Nothing else. Oh, my command. This would be my last day of my command. I'd have been gone from my command like a week before this episode came out. I left the command. Shout out to everybody. 9 months at the command. Definitely not enough time. Wasn't there for a long time, but definitely was there for a good time. So shout out to everybody at the command. USS George H.W. Bush. Shout out.
Nice. That's what's up. Well, I have been stressed out as well because I'm planning my birthday finale. That's going to be Saturday. So we're going to go and have some fun. We're going to the one of the wineries. We get some VIP treatment up there. And then I have like a private dinner that's going to happen in like Menifee.
Yeah.
At a restaurant. So that's the birthday finale.
Yeah, Tisha.
Nice.
You know, your tone always changes when you like bring up like dates. Like things you doing with dudes. Your tone changes.
No. It's not a dude. It's all girls. It's all girls.
Even the private dinner? Even the private dinner? Oh,
yeah, it's all girls.
Okay.
See there?
Yeah, almost had you again. You got me sniffing it out.
You got me the other time, though. You got me the other time. No, I'm on the prowl.
Chubbs, what you been up to, man?
Oh, man, it's been a busy week, man. We had some commissioning ceremony. One of our senior chiefs got commissioned to CWO2, so we did that yesterday. Getting ready for Sailor of the Year week at COMNAVSURFPAC. I got 4 outstanding CMCs coming in to do the pre-board or board the packages. And then I got another 4 coming in that's going to do the in-person board with a Force Master Chief. Had a lot of stuff, man. We did because it's a 4-day weekend. We celebrated CPO birthday yesterday with morning colors. Had the mess out there. We formed up. We observed morning colors. Then we offered coffee and cake with coffee and donuts to the command for a coffee call. Did a photo shoot for the Chiefs mess. And then now I'm here doing this podcast with you guys. So I'm excited.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
About you, Damon? What you been up to, man?
Oh, man, I've been good, man. I've been chilling, man. Nothing crazy. My son doing a lot of stuff, man. He in track, you know, that boy, he's doing good, man. Like, he actually, man, no shit. He's surprising me. You know, my youngest, like, what he doing? And kind of like his level of, he's been a guy that's been like, you know, the little jokester and all this stuff, man. Now I'm seeing he taking stuff a little bit more serious now as he getting older, man. Yeah. So I'm kind of like looking at him a little different, man. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of proud of him, man.
You've been working? You've been working?
I'm always working, man.
Man. You know, we working over there.
I called David the other day. It was like I forgot what time. Man, I ain't even gonna snitch you.
Hey, Damo, Tish and Damo. Don't forget my CMC is over here, man.
I'm on the East Coast, Chubbs. I'm on the East Coast, so it's a different time. And I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing, you know. But I'm like, hey, you know, I'm like, you working right now? Nah, dog. And I just chuckled, man, because of the time it was, you know what I mean? Look, man, short duty, you on your way, you know, you about to go to sea duty, you about to go kill it wherever you go next. Hey. Did your orders change, or are you still going to Washington State?
Now I'm going to Washington, man. June. I'm selected to go there in June. So,
yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I don't be checking for Damon or nobody in the mess. I tell you, man, I don't care how less you work or how much you work, as long as you're getting the job done and every task I send out, if it's getting met, I mean, it is what it is. It's when I send out a task and I'm looking up at 1300 and it's a ghost town. Yeah, every now and then, it's no problem. But if it's every day, because you're trying to beat that traffic because you live in Temecula or Marietta or something, hey, man, don't let me move these meetings to 1600, you know, so.
Hey, look, shout out to ATG Norfolk, man. I went to that building at like 1416, right? I remember the time, I got a time stamp. I went there at 1416. It was no evidence of life in that joint. I'm looking for fossils. I feel like an archaeologist in that joint. I'm looking for evidence of life in that joint, man. They was out of there, man.
So yeah, man, we got to guess.
We do got to, real quick, on short duty, staff duty, or whatever the case may be, we do got to get it in when you can, though. If you need to take a knee and you need to work that work-life balance, then take advantage of it, right? Yeah. As long as you keep meeting the mission, enjoy as much time off that you can, because when you're on sea duty, it's real hard, very challenging to get that time with the family.
Yeah. Most definitely, man. Yeah. Most definitely.
Hey, Damon, so sorry, you guys, real quick. Shout out to the one dude at ATG Norfolk that was there that helped me out, because I dragged it a little bit, and he might be listening like, nah, I was there. It was one dude there. Yeah, he helped me out. Shout out just one.
He was about to close the building.
Yeah, I was holding him up. I was holding him up. Man. He looked at me like, because they like, hey, you got an appointment? I'm like, nah, I'm just in here, man. Like looking for some help from a chief. You know what I mean? He looked at me. He said, "What's up?" But that's it, though. Sorry, David.
No, you good, man. Hey, so you guys already know we got a guest, man, with a lot of freaking experience, man. But my first question for you, Chubbs, is like, when did you know like the Navy was for you?
Oh man, good question. Probably when I was an E5, when I was an OS2. I knew nothing about the Navy when I first joined, man. And it's funny because the reason I joined the Navy, I was dating a girl at the time. Her mom was a lieutenant in the Navy. And she was all like, hey, what you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, man, I see myself in 5 years, hopefully alive, being from Chicago, right?
Right.
And I was still in high school and stuff. And so she was like, well, the Navy got a lot of benefits and opportunity. My mom's lieutenant. You could do this, and that. She was laying it all out for me. But I wasn't hearing it. Just going in one ear and out the other. So fast forward 2-3 years later, graduating, end up joining the Navy, and First Command USS Coronado. Shout out to AGF 11, flagship for 3rd Fleet back in the day. Great command. Undesignated Seaman Smith went on there, and then ended up getting struck OS. Got my Eastwars pin, and then as an E5, ended up transferring to Great Lakes. I was from Chicago, so I was going to do my 3 years at Great Lakes and get out. This Master Chief came up to me and said, hey, what's your plans? Just like she did. He's like, what you see yourself in 5 years? I was like, I'm getting out, Master Chief. He was like, before you get out, take a duty over at the COM6 Fleet in Gaeta, Italy, and then get out. I was like, all right, I'll do it. 31 years later, I'm still here. But my E5 pay grade is when I knew I could do this. I'm like, hey, there's something here, man. Advancement came easy to me. And, no disrespect for anyone it's challenging for them to take these tests, but I found it easy, especially being from deck. You tell me what to do, where to be, and, show up with a good attitude and a squared away uniform. So I learned that early when I was E1, E2, and E3. So when I made OS3 and OS2, it was like, hey, you got to take the test. I said, okay, I'll take the test. Hey, these things right here is called the bibs. It tells you what chapter, what to study, what topics. I was like, you telling me you going to give me the information I'm going to study to make the test? They was like, yeah. Oh, so I found that real easy. So I took advantage of that. And at that E5 level, I had just enough power to run the E4s in junior, not enough to get in trouble because I had a chief in the first class above me. So that E5 level is when I was like, yeah, I think I can make a career out of this.
Yeah, I think that's the one that
you know what, Chubbs? I mean, you brought up something that I never really thought about, man. But how far do a squared away uniform take you in the Navy these days, man? Like no shit. Like if dealing with people, dealing with sailors, like somebody come up to me and they got a squared away, uniform on, I automatically, before I even talk to them, I'm kind of like giving them a benefit of the doubt, right? Mm-hmm. Like we never really look at it. We never really like talked about that separately, but that uniform, when somebody coming up to you and they talking to you or whatever, and they square it away, man, it's different.
I'll tell you this, man. My first special duty or special liberty, I got a 48-hour special liberty for standing in Pier Sentry. Like I said, I was an undesignated seaman on a Pier J on North Island. And I'm straight out of boot camp now, right? So I didn't go to A school. I knew what my RDC taught me. I did go to, what's that thing you go to right after A school when you're undesignated? ATD or something?
ATD or something,
yeah. So I went to ATD for about 2 weeks or something like that. And I remember standing watching on the pier, parade rest. Y'all gonna clown me, but I'm being truthful and transparent with you. Parade rest. Every time until somebody came up, I checked the ID and I salute them on the pier, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody, because that's what I was taught in boot camp. That's what I was taught by my RDC. So lo and behold, 3rd Fleet come up. I didn't know who he was. I'm parade rest. He come up, he showed his ID. I see he was an officer. I salute, went back to grade rest, and he went back. So as he's walking down the pier, I remember him turning back. He kept looking at me. I'm like, damn, did I do something wrong? Like, so after 4 hours go by, I go up on the quarterdeck, and then the old dude was like, I don't know what the F you did down there, but you got the rest of the day and tomorrow off. And so the petty officer watch was like, hey, Damon was so impressed about your watch stand and your uniform. He told us to knock you off when you get off watch.
Wow.
You know, and back then we had the dress blues, you know, the Dixie cup, you put a little roll in it, you know what I'm saying? You could pull it down a little. And, you know, that was the moment for me that I realized, you know, I was like, man, a squared away uniform and, you know, your military, and I hop on it, Tish and Damon, y'all heard me say it all the time. Mm-hmm. Military bearing, your military appearance carries you a long way. You get a lot of credit with me. Before you even open your mouth, when you walk in my office, I'm from head to toe. Even when I'm walking down the P-ways, I see something, and then people go, man, how you see that? And I tell people, hey, your blouse is strap off, or this, or whatever the case may be. And they say, man, I didn't even see that. You just train to see it. And on the flip side of that coin, when people are squared away, when they come up and their uniform is good and their grooming standard is perfect, you tell them, hey, nice looking uniform. I told the dude the other day at this second class petty officer at CSD, you know, he had a beard, he was well groomed, his uniform was sharp, and Cos was talking to him, all the TAD people that we got over there at CSD. And when Cos, he's like, CMC, you got anything? I said, I do, sir. And I went up to the sailor. I said, hey, this is squared away uniform, and I appreciate your beards within grooming standard. Shook his hand from everybody, and everybody was like looking at me looking at that same class, like, oh man. So just like we quick to get on the people who uniform is not squared away, praise those who uniform, you know, is squared away so other people see it. And then you know what they do the next day when they come to work? Their uniform is looking like the person you just acknowledged because we seek that approval and that praise, you know. So I think it's healthy.
Yeah, and it shows that somebody took like the extra step in the morning, or they took the extra step at night. Like it's that we was talking before about the things you do off your duty time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a big, especially the shiny boots.
So the shiny boots, I'm not I put a little gloss to them. You know, my boots not gonna look like I was kicking flowers. Probably kind of worried, but I probably won't win no shoe shine contest, right? You know, like some other CMCs I see on social media, right? So I'm not gonna win that. But the Type 3s, the uniform, that's what I loved about the utilities back in the day before we made Chief, and what I loved about the wash khakis and stuff. You could tell the squared away sailor or Chief, you know, that khaki looking sharp, your utilities sharp and creased, you know. Now we wearing Type 3, so it hide a little dirt. People wear them a little longer than they should. And I tell people all the time, hey, your Type 3s look like you've been rolling in flour. It's time to get another one, right? Like my stuff stay fresh. You know, I use my uniform allowance for my uniforms. I get 2 sets every year. And when they get old and faded, I throw them away because I think it's important to look sharp all the time.
Yeah, I was showing one of my junior sellers the utilities last night, man, because we did a little going away for me. And I was like, yo.
Hey, which ones? The ones you stencil or the ones you embroider? Which ones now?
Embroidered ones.
Date yourself.
Okay. But I was showing him a picture. He was like, hey, you had to prepare those? I was like, yeah, man. You iron them, heavy on the stuff.
Military crease and everything.
Crazy move.
You mess up that crease, it's like, God.
That was a good uniform, though.
We always wear them coveralls on engineering, though. Hey, so we didn't talk to, like, in a couple podcasts, man. We was talking about our kids, man, and I know you got a kid that's in the military, man. How was that? Talk to us a little bit about that, man.
Oh man, it's a gift and a curse, man. You know, it's a blessing. That, you know, someone that you raised and, you know, gave birth to, not me physically giving birth to him, but, you know, he's my seed, my son, who's following the steps of his dad. And his mom also was a veteran. You know, she did 10 years in and went to the reserves. So CJ is very familiar with the military, you know, the life and stuff. So when he decided to join, I was very happy and proud of him. Couldn't go to boot camp to his graduation because of COVID. You know, so they streamed it live. But I did end up going to his, he's a CS, so I did end up going to his graduation from A school. So I thought that was cool. You know, one of my proudest moments, walking him down the pier to his first ship. And at first I wasn't going to do it. So I drove him to the ship. He's in his whites, you know, and I'm in my whites. And at Pier 2, he's on USS Stockdale. So I get to Pier 2, parked in his CMC parking spot, because that's what I do, right? And then I said, CJ, you gonna? I said, well, I go to ship. You good? He's like, yeah, Dad. So he get out the truck, and I'm watching him, and he put the seat bag on his back. He's in his dress whites. I said, you know what? I'm about to walk him down because he had a book bag too, or a duffel bag. So I just park. I get outside, I help him. So we walking down the pier, and everybody was like, oh, that dude in trouble. It was like he got a CMC escorting him to the ship. Little they know that that's like, I'm walking my son to the first ship. Because when I walked to the ship by myself the first time, it could be a little intimidating, right? Coming from Chicago, knew nothing about the Navy, knew nothing about maritime and water and all that stuff, looking up to this big, great thing. So I try to not have that moment or that, that fear for CJ. So I'm going to walk with you. So we walked down the pier. His OD, his chief, met us on a quarterdeck. I watched CJ go up the brow. I coined his chief, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got my son now, take care of him. And it was a good moment. So he's doing great things. I joke with him. We went on deployment together too, because he was on stock there. We was in the same strike group. So every time we hit port, he's like, Dad, what you doing? I said, well, I got a room. I'm about to go, relax. He's like, can I come over? I go, yeah. He come over, suck up my AC, my Wi-Fi, do a load of laundry or something, then hit the streets, right? And I'm like, dude, for 20 years, I try to get you out the house. I finally get you out the house. The first Liberty port, you right back in my room on deployment, right? So I thought that was funny, but we enjoyed each other, man. I went on his ship for Christmas. Like I said, we was on deployment together. He had duty. So I went over there, broke bread with him and his triad. So it's great, man. I enjoy it. And it's always a CDB with her. Every time I call him, what are you doing? You got your PMKs done? You been a leadership development course yet? Hey, ask your chief, what do you need to do to stay competitive for MAP? What do you need to do to stay competitive for Sailor Corps? You can ask those questions. Those are legit questions you can ask leadership. What do I need to do to stay competitive for the next thing? And if they can't tell you that, ask for a CDB and say, oh, by the way, I'm going to have my dad at the CDB as well, because I do it for every sailor under my charge, every one. And so one of my boys, Dominic Young, he's on the Pearl Harbor. His son just joined the Navy too. He called me up. He said, Chubbs, man, how much do you tell CJ? Everything. Why leave it for him to guess?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling him everything, man. This is what you need to do successful. But not only do I do it for CJ, I do it for every sailor under my charge. So I don't feel like it's cheating. I don't feel like I'm giving him a leg up. So the same thing I'm telling my sailors, that they report in CDB and that they non-select CDB and that they check in with me, I tell CJ. And sometimes when I forget to tell them something, after I talk to a sailor or somebody else, I'm like, oh man, I got to let CJ know about this program. And as soon as I'm finished with that sailor, I give him a call. Hey, CJ, look into, X, Y, and Z, fill in the blank. Because why I did it. I've been doing this for 30-something years, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I show you the right way to do something, give you the tools? You don't have to guess. No, I'm telling you what it is. Now, when you choose to do it or not, now that's on you, right? But you have the formula to be successful.
Yeah. So CJ, that's a legacy to me, right? That's a legacy pass, which if your dad wasn't in the military, then that would be a second generation, right? That would be, is it second generation? Or was your dad in the military?
No, my dad was not in the military. My granddad was in the Army, but that skipped a generation because neither was my mom or dad served.
Okay. So are you first generation anything in your family? So, and I'm going to tell you why I'm asking that, because I'm from Philly, inner city, right? Chicago is when I think about Chicago, I think about the inner city part of Chicago. I think about like some things like we didn't have like in Philly, like we getting block lunches. Like we used to get lunches. They used to give us lunch in the street in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? Like freebies.
Yeah, same here.
And so some of us are like that joined the military. We become like first generation. Like for me, I think in my coming from like my parents, I might be the first generation homeowner, the first, now you got a son, so you passing a legacy on. He got a good example of what to be and stuff like that. But for you joining the Navy, fresh out of Chicago, how old were you at the time?
I was 19 when I joined. Yeah, 19 or 20.
Were you first generation anything?
I would say the Navy then, for my family. First generation joining the Navy, first generation owning a home, first generation of, two-parent home raising kids. First generation of just a sense of, what's what I'm searching for. Like just being able to stand on my own, right? Yeah. So, shout out to, those that that need, the service and, the special assistance from the government and stuff like that. But, I was raised on that. My mom raised 3 boys, and she was on welfare. We had the food stamps. I had to wait till people leave the store to pull them out to spend them and all that stuff, right? And I was embarrassed by it, but I was only embarrassed by it because when I was growing up, that's what we did as kids. We talked about people who have less than you, right? But when I got older and a little smarter, I was like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about it, right? Matter of fact, I'm proud that my mom was able to raise 3 boys by herself, and none of us going to jail. None of us had addicted to drugs and alcohol and police reports and all that stuff, right? And so when I started working, and I had a job ever since I was 14 years old, whether it's running papers, helping people carrying their food to their car or up the steps in the projects because they didn't want to make 3 or 4 trips. I always had some type of income coming in, right? And so when I turned 16, I had a full-time job at the local grocery store. So I would do all my 8 hours at school in the morning, during the day. I have an hour to get from school to home, change out, and then I went to work, and I got off at midnight every night, right? And so my paycheck I was earning, in my mind, I was thinking, this is less that my mom have to do. Mom, I'm going to buy my own food. I'm going to buy my own clothes. There was no cell phones and nothing back then, but everything that I was able to do on my own, even at a young age, in my mind, I was like, this is less of a burden for my mom. So I would say first generation of having that mindset, the more I could do for myself, the less my mom had to do. And she could keep that change to herself. So that was my thought process. So first generation of that mindset and thinking. And that same thoughts to CJ and the rest of my kids too.
Yeah. Now, my question coming off that is this, right? Again, inner city, right? I grew up in the inner city. I had to walk like 16 blocks to get to school, right? It was either 12 or 16 blocks. So every day walking to school, and it might sound crazy, it might sound like an exaggeration, but every day walking to school is a life or death choice. Like in the part of Philly I grew up in, like it's rival blocks, neighborhoods. It's like you could get killed any day walking to school. You could get killed in school. In the middle school, I'm talking about middle school, right? In the middle school I went to, and then going to high school, we traveling from like 3 different, parts of Philly. So by the time I got to the Navy, I had a chip on my shoulder by this point. If every single day in my young adulthood, just to walk outside is a life or death decision, I had a chip on my shoulder a little bit, right? So my question for you is, when you joined the Navy, coming from Chicago, a place that I would kind of liken to you, Philly, I know right now is real crazy over there right now. Did you have a chip on your shoulder coming in?
I didn't have a chip on my shoulder. Like I told you, I thought the Navy when I first came in, it was kind of easy because, like I said, I learned early that you got a good attitude and a squared away uniform. That gives you some credit on some couple of things. And then when you tell me what to do, I remember one time when my LPO told me that when I struck OS, I was still undesignated. I struck OS and I had to paint this P-way. So he was like, "Hey, Seaman Smith, I want you to paint from this bulkhead to like this bulkhead, right?" And I'm like, "That's it?" He's like, "Yeah, just knock it out." Mind you, I prepped the whole bulkhead, like on both sides, the whole P-way around CIC on the whole 3 level. So when I rolled out that bulkhead, I was like, damn, I might as well just do it all. I'm going to end up doing it anyway, right? So I painted the whole bulkhead around all the CIC. My chief got so mad. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I painted all the bulkhead. I'm going to have to." He said, "Man, you just did a week's worth of work in 1 hour. Now I got to find something else to do," right? And so I didn't really have a chip on my shoulder. I just felt like the Navy was easy for me. I'm going to do what I'm told to do. So it wasn't a chip, but I did have a sense of, I'm not going to prove nobody right. Because people always think that, set you up for failure, or people always think that, oh, you can't do that, or you're not going to do that. So in my mind, I said, I'm not going to give you a reason to tell me no. I'm not going to give you the benefit of saying, "Oh man, you tried, but you failed at this." So it really wasn't a chip, because I'm very competitive. So if you tell me I can't do something, physically can't do something, but if it's achievable, I'm going to try to get it done. And so one a chip, I would say more competitive, but I always watch the people that doubt you. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like motivated me.
Yeah, that was like my fuel. And I'm going to shut up in a sec. But that was my fuel as a young sailor, was like to not kind of like, I was a hip hop kid, right? I even made music. So I look like hip hop. I act like hip hop, all of that. But my fuel as a working sailor on a ship was never let somebody think they knew who I was based off of like how I looked, like what they saw. Like, so it was like never prove somebody right. And then that was also what I used to like mentor other young sellers. I'm like, hey, bro, look, some of these people want you to do this or they want you to do that. Like, nah, you gotta change that narrative. Let's work. Let's be the hardest workers on this ship. Let's do it. So we used to pull each other up, so that, that's like you just saying that, like never prove somebody right. That just kind of affected me a little bit because that's how we used to get down.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say his name. If he's watching the podcast, he could chime in if he wants to. My little bro, he told me the reason why he went CMC is because the day he met me as a CMC, he said, I never met a CMC who rocked Jordans, who rocked earrings, had a nice little swag by himself, but was still cool and humble and down to earth. And he came into the CMC program because he shared that story about 2 years ago, and I love and respect him for him. So I'm not going to say his name, but if you ever watch this, if you ever see this podcast, chime in and say, yeah, that was me. But it's your story to tell, but that motivated me, and I appreciate that. But all because of, like you just said, Don, like how you present yourself, how you look. Oh, he can't be a CMC. And I get questioned that all the time, man. I pull up in the CMC parking spot. They're like, that's for CMC. I'm like, okay. Oh, you can't park that. Yeah, I can. I'm sorry, man. How you doing? CMC Smith, COMNAVSURFPAC. Who are you? Oh, you're a CMC? And I had this dude. I had this dude. I parked in the CMC parking. He's looking at me. And I go to the ATM on 32nd Street, and I'm watching. He's walking back and forth, and I could see him in a little mirror thing. I was like, "What is this dude doing, man?" I know he's not that bold to try to rob me on base, so he's like looking at me. He's walking back and forth, and then so after I get my money, I'm walking back to my truck. He's like, "Oh, excuse me." I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He's like, "That parking's for CMC." I said, "I know," and just got in my truck. Like,
yeah,
just because the way you look, people don't think you're a CMC. Crazy, sometimes.
Yeah.
They like CMCs don't wear J's.
Yeah, he don't wear J's.
He got like every one of them.
He do.
Like every
color. He got a lot.
CMC, you can't be a CMC. You don't got a beard gut. You can't be a CMC. You're not old and crusty. You can't be a CMC. You run in your PFA with the rest of the command. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I told somebody I was going to put a picture of Nipsey in my office, and they was like, Nipsey? You going to get in trouble. Oh, man, yo.
Oh, I thought you was going to say like Lil Boosie or somebody.
I ain't putting Boosie in there, man. Shout out to Boosie. Hey, Chubb, but already, Chubbs, man, thanks for the inspiration. Because that's, I don't think we got to change our identity, man. I think if we stay who we are, it's easier to be who you are anyway, but it's more inspirational, man. And, and then if you, like I said it before, if you stay who you are and you give it your all, you really don't have no regrets because you didn't. Normally, if you're not who you are and then you do something and you fail, you're going to have a regret because you're like, man, what if I would have did it the way I wanted to do it anyway? Yeah. But if you do it as who you are, you don't got to deal with those regrets.
When my first award ceremony as a CMC, I used to dab people hands up after I give them the award. You know how to seal. I get to seal the award, present, picture. He goes to the next person. And when he's going to the next person, but as I'm grabbing the award, the person he just awarded for whatever advancement, whatever the case may be, I normally dab him up like, hey, good job, Bravo Zulu. And that was my thing, right? And so somebody was like, man, CMC is real disrespectful. This came from somebody in a mess one time. I was like, what do you mean? It was like, he didn't shake their hand. He just dabbed them up. And they was like, but that's him being him. Like, I'm going to dab you up. I'm not going to shake your hand. That's just who I am. Right. And so, if I change who I am, just like you said, I might have regrets. Like, then I'm not being me. I'm conforming to what you want me to be. Right. There's nothing wrong with, hey, what's up? How y'all doing today? I talk basketball. I talk gaming with sailors. I talk shoot games with sailors. Like just being able to relate to them, being who I am. And it's not a hard stretch because I have some of the same likes that they have. Right. And so as long as you being yourself, and I tell you what, man, the how you go up in the ranks, just being yourself, it's welcome. It's welcome. I mean, my chief of staff changed my seating at the Surface Warrior Ball so he could be at the same table with me because of the conversations we have and just the being in good company, man. If you're a good person, no matter what's your pay grade, no matter what your race or ethnic background, if you're a good person, people are drawn to that, man. And being yourself. And I think I'm a good person. I have my days at times, but if you're a good person by heart and by nature, people are drawn to that.
Yeah, that's a fact. No, we said the same thing.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's just true, man. Like
it is.
We try to be. We try to be. Sometimes we try to be like other people, man. We look at the LeBrons, we look at the Joe Rogans, we look at all these different people that's doing crazy stuff. But guess what? Some of those guys are like goats at what they do. You know what I mean? What make you unique, right? What make you special? Work with that, and it's cool. Like you said, it's welcome. You know what I mean? It's good, man. I like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching y'all real quick, sis. I was watching y'all show. When y'all told me you wanted me on, I stopped watching your show for a couple of weeks because I didn't want to watch the show and then, see or hear somebody say something and me trying to mimic that or copy that. It's like being in the studio. I'm not going to listen to music while I'm writing mine. So I dialed off y'all show for a little while so I could have my own when I come into it, man. And so it's for that reason, because I want to be me. I don't want to be your last podcast. I don't want to be somebody man, he said the same thing so-and-so said. Now, if I say it without watching it and knowing it, then that's who I am. But I'm not trying to mimic somebody or be, somebody else.
Yeah. You going to go back? You going to go back, Chubbs? You go to the episodes that you missed.
Oh, yeah. I got y'all. Y'all locked in. Y'all my favorite. You on my favorite thing on Instagram. I got you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Because it's a couple good ones. We had a couple good ones.
I see him. I see him.
So when I first came to SurfPAC, right? Or not when I first came, when you first got to SurfPAC, Chubbs, I was kind of on my way out because it was a little bit before I retired. And I remember thinking like, dang, why couldn't he be here longer? Because it was just like you being you, and I could just tell you were a good, genuine person. And it was just like, dang, like, I wish I had to be here longer. And I was like, should I stay in a little bit longer? Like, that's crazy. But it was like, when you came in, you brought so much value to the mess. In the short time between the time that you got there and the time that I left, it seemed like you brought so much to the mess, so much cohesiveness. We were without like a real billeted CMC. You were the first billeted CMC that we had. Before then, it was SCLs, but they were kind of pulling them out of different departments. So it was like a real bona fide CMC coming in, and it just completely changed the flavor of the mess. And I loved where it was going.
Appreciate it.
Oh, most definitely. So being at this was your first TYCOM, right?
First TYCOM.
Okay. So being at a TYCOM as a CMC versus being, at any other command as a CMC, what's like some of the biggest differences that you see?
Oh man. The access, the visibility I have on all ships and all the CMCs, all the triads, you sit in on these briefs of the ship, of, the readiness brief is, what each ship is doing, the commander update brief, the CUB brief on where they are, in a cycle of the training and in the cycle of deployment, what ships are manned and undermanned, what ships is having troubles and problems, both whether it's with the ship or with with personnel. So visibility on all that. I think it was eye opener when I got here. I was like, wow, So when I'm sitting in these briefs and hearing people talk about ships, I'm like, man, I wonder, when my ship wasn't doing so good, what were they saying? Man, what the hell is that triad doing on that ship? Because I hear it on this side. I'm like, but thankfully, the last couple of ships I've been on, we did well, back-to-back battle ease, gold anchor, retention excellence award, Eastward's pennant. So stuff like that, I'm like, man, I wonder what's said when you're not in the room. Now I'm hearing it on this side. Sometimes some people I'm close to, or if they give me a call or email, I'm like, hey man, you probably want to look at this program. Hey man, you probably want to pull so-and-so aside, but it's an eye opener being on this side.
Yeah, I bet, because it's a lot going on out there. It's definitely a lot going on. And you probably see all the drama that's going on all the ships. So yeah, it's definitely something big.
Hey, I got a quick story. I gotta say, man. It just came to mind, man. When me and Chubbs first encounter, man. I call it the me and Chubbs first encounter, man. And we was talking about, something that happened. It was the FAP program. So I called Chubbs up and I'm talking to him about it. And I'm trying, you don't be knowing things or whatever. So I'm trying to explain to Chubbs, like the program and how it works. And very quickly, I don't know if you even know how you said it, what you said. You just like very quickly, you said, "Hey man, I know the FAP program." I was trying, you do with you the FAP guy, you trying to explain it and shit. You was like,
right.
Program. I know the program, bro.
Right.
I said, okay. First thing I thought about, I got a real one right here, man.
Got a real one.
But we do that though, and I understand that. And I knew what you was coming at by doing that. Like, look, man, I know what I'm doing, Chubb. So you explain to me what the FAP program, what's the next step and all. So I value that. But in my mind, I'm like, you good, bro.
Yeah.
I know the FAP program. What we doing? Where we going from here? What we doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I get it though. I done that a couple of times coming up. And me saying it that way to you was level respect towards you. Like, I know the FAP program. I'm not going to let you waste your breath and time, because your time is important. So I was like, I know the program, what we doing, right? And so, yeah, man, I remember that.
You remember the conversation? Yeah,
I do,
man.
That's when people get into that. Like, I don't need to know how the sausage is made. That's where that come from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, Chubbs, you should have just told them, hey, why is TMIT always on every hit list?
Hey, watch your mouth, Tish. Watch your
why
mouth
y'all
now.
always on every hit list? Are they still on every?
Watch your mouth.
But I'm gonna tell you this. Actually, TMIT is one of the better encodes at the command now. And I'm gonna tell you why. And for a couple of reasons. One is about what you just talked about earlier, Tish. Before, you guys didn't have a rated CMC there, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're a Master Chief in an encode and you doubling down as SEL and 4 still in a blank, when you go off and do your 4 still in a blank, all the SEL stuff go by the wayside. Mm-hmm. Like, we weren't doing CDBs, we weren't mustering people appropriately, we wasn't doing check-ins and in-doc on a regular basis. So with a rated CMC there, with that continuity being in place, there comes communication. So Jimmy and I, we got a good relationship. And so me talking to him, I was like, hey, look, man, if TMIT can't support something, let me know beforehand. I don't want to know after the fact. And so once we got that communication going, he quickly got his guys engaged, got them off hit list. And weekly, I would get an email from Jamie or one of his assistants saying, hey, TMIT can't support X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C, right? And so because of that, and knowing that when you're on that hit list, I ask you, Damon, he see the emails come out. If you're on the hit list, I say this is a direct reflection of leadership on us. Like, how are you on the hit list for $15 at the flag mess and we going by 3-4 paydays? How are you on the hit list for medical or dental for 3 or 4 months, but at $1,400 you go on every day? Like, take care of your stuff, right? Like, get off the hit list, because what you're not going to do is try to enforce the standards when you're not in standards. So how you going to tell your second class and first classes, hey, you need to get your GMT done, you need to get off the IMR hit list, but you on it too though. So because the chief is on it, they don't force the standard. Now everybody's on it. Well, here come Chubbs. Get off the hit list.
Oh yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
So, question for you. We just had the new pregnancy assignment, whatever it's called, the NAV admin that came out, right? And I know at SURFPAC we had like the Artemis division that you guys were doing like the pilot on that.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went well. So the Artemis program, we was receiving pregnant sailors. So obviously they can't go on ships, right? So they come to us. They have they give birth to the child. They go on their maternity leave. They come back. They get healthy, spend a few months with us, get healthy, fit for full duty, and then they apply for orders, and then they're off their way. I thought the program went well. I'm not going to say it backfired, but for some of the things, one thing about the program, the sailors had it so good at SURFPAC when they came to us on the Artemis program. Most of them is not working in a rate. So we'll put them partly in supply, we'll put them in admin, or they come in the front office, or we even had a few working as our EA, as my EA and as support EA, doing administrative type stuff, right? And they excelled at it. I mean, people's getting awards, people's getting recognition from us. They was coming in, they had good working hours. They was going home at the end of a full work day. They felt like they was part of the team. And then they get fit for forward duty, they get their veil message, go back out, the sea, and they're like, oh, CMC, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. Well, you can't stay here. You use the program what it was meant for, to have the baby, get healthy, get back to fit for forward duty, and back in the fight. And I would say about 75% did that with no question. The other 25% try to find a way to stay at CERTPAC because they didn't want to go back on the ship, right? But I thought it was a successful program.
Right.
And we signed down that program now. All those sailors,
they're gone now.
Yeah, they all gone. They back fit for forward duty. And we still are receiving pregnant sailors to come TAD, but we just don't call it the Artemis program,
Okay. Yeah, we had a few of them in legal, and they were great. They were great. Yep. Great. I missed them too.
Mm-hmm. That was a good team you had up there.
Mm-hmm. So I have another question. So I remember as a first class, being an LN, I was at I was at CTF 76 in Okinawa. So, and I got to go on the BHR. We would embark on there. And so when I got on the BHR, I would work with their LNs and we would just kind of do everything together. That was my first time at like a real command. Before then I was at legal commands and stuff like that. So that was my first time at a real command. So that was also my first time like working with like DRB, XOI, and NJP. So I sat in on the first DRB, and I remember, so the other first class, he was like, yeah, when we go in there, we just gonna sit on the side, we just take notes, we make sure the CMC has all the paperwork, because the CMC is the one that chairs, for those who don't know, CMC is the one that chairs the DRBs. And so that had to be one of the hardest assignments, because it'd be some crazy stuff happening at DRB that's just like outrageous, but we're not, as LNs, we're not a part of it. So we like, there's no laughing and stuff. Like that's how we're taught. Like we're not in there coking and joking or nothing like that. Those are not our friends. We in there to do a job, stay professional, blah, blah, blah. But some people like just say they're crazy or the wildest things happen. And I'm just like, oh my God. So what's been like the craziest thing that's ever happened at DRB that you can speak on?
Oh man, the craziest thing that happened at DRB that me as the CMC or me being part of that mess?
Either or.
All right, well, officially me as the CMC, nothing. All right. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy as me as the CMC. And that's just being truthful. And because I've seen and learned as I was coming up in the ranks, I seen this one senior chief go ham on this first class. Like damn near spitting in his face, knife handing him like this, like just a bunch of F-bombs just going off on the sailor. And then he walked out the mess. He's like, I don't even, after he said all that, he's like, blah, 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 blah. I don't even want to stand in front of you no more. You don't need to be in my Navy. And he walked out. And I sat there and I'm like, okay, you just laid into him. Maybe some of the stuff was factual, maybe some wasn't. But what's the training behind it? How you going to bring it back full circle and give him the aha moment, like, oh, okay, I got it, CMG.
Right.
You didn't. All you did was curse them out, Dan and spit on him. And I was thinking to myself, man, if I was that first class, I don't know how I could stand that. Like I'm putting myself in his shoes, right? And so, the senior chief, he never put his hands on anything. It was highly unprofessional, I would say. And he just stormed out. And I'm like, man, like, what do you get from that? And so we kind of brought him around full circle to the sailor that was standing there. But that was a lesson for me that I put in my pocket. Like, hey, DRB, that's not what DRB is about, right? We haven't done a DRB when you was there, Tish, and Dan, the one I just had the other day, you weren't in attendance. But my DRBs, I tell the mess all the time, hey, this is not a yelling section. This is not a belittling section. This is not a section to disrespect the sailor. If you got questions, ask the questions. I'm not the profanity police. I'd rather we don't use profanity, but, if one slip here and there, that's fine. But we're not here to bring them in and just go off on the sailor with a whole bunch of F-bombs. And I say that because what I experienced coming up as a chief and a senior chief at some people's DRBs, I'm like, yeah, that's not effective because if you standing up there yelling at me, the average sailor is going to tune you out. They're not going to listen to you. You know, they tune us out anyway. But if you start really yelling at them and just being disrespectful, it's not effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that happens in the mess too. A lot of times, to be honest with you, the CMC, a lot of times don't have to get involved with that, man. A lot of time we should be policing ourselves when it comes to that inside the mess.
And I knock on wood on that. My last, I would say the DRBs, I've been the chair of, and my last, 3 or 4 commands I've been a CMC of. The senior chiefs and the master chiefs and the chiefs in the mess, they do a good job of policing themselves and getting to the point of why you're here at DRB. And so I got to give respect to those chiefs that support me in that.
Yeah. And I think with the DRB piece too is explaining why they're at DRB. And in the mess also, we're trying to find out as it's going up. Just trying to find out as we're doing EMI. We're trying to find out what are we doing with this. I think when everybody understands that, I think it's better. A lot of times, the guy going up or girl going up before they even get in there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
some things you just have to.
So DRB, I tell the mess, hey, if you plan on attending DRB, the package is in my office, or the package is legal. Read it, get your questions beforehand, understand what's going on. You're not rolling in DRB the day of and don't know, hey, what's going on. If you didn't read the package, I need you to bounce then, because you're not in there that's like, what's going on? What did you say? Hey, let me see that package. No, you should have did that beforehand, because I'm not wasting your time. I'm not wasting your time or the sailor time. Read the package beforehand. Go in there with your questions already. And if someone already asked a question, we're not beating a dead horse. Ask your question and we move on. Get the facts right. And so, DRB over the years, under my watch and people I learned from, changed drastically. It's not the old just come in there and yell at. And I do another thing I do at my DRBs, and to include my sailor recorder, my maps, or not my maps, my sailor recorders, DRB, my rankings on my E6 and E5s. I bring those JOs in. I bring that Lieutenant JG and that instant in. And they go, man, CMC, we didn't know this what happens at a DRB. We just thought y'all yell at and throw stuff at people. No, they see it from this side, so they know how to better lead their sailors and prevent them from coming to DRB, right? I bring them in, so it's an education, it's a training mentor, because once one of the charges we do as chiefs, train and mentor our JOs, right? Yeah. So I bring them in at DRB. Hey, this is what goes on in DRB. We explain it to them. They see the process, right? So when they become a CO or an XO, when I recommend something go up, they know that the chiefs did their due diligence when they came up out of the chief's mess.
Yeah. Right. And what you just said about the senior chief made me think about something. I was having a conversation with somebody on Instagram. Well, PTSF was having a conversation with somebody on Instagram the other day. And the person was like, well, isn't the initiation just to make like chiefs evil people, to turn first classes into evil people?
Wow.
And I was like, nah, that's not what the initiation is about. Like, and I normally don't respond. Like, so we got this podcast, we put it out, we wear civilian clothes. I don't know if everybody always knows like our ranks and everything like that, but sometimes you might get like a slick remark about different things. And I feel like it's called permission to speak freely, right? So in the comments, go ahead, do you, but what he said was just wrong. I'm like, no, that's not what the initiation, is about, so I'm thinking like, this might be a moment I could kind of help him out. So then he was like, he pretty much responded like, oh, it's not. And then he started running down like a list of like senior chiefs and master chiefs that like gave him a bad experience. And my response to that was more of and my response for that is heartfelt. It comes from my heart, man. It's like, and in my heart, like I feel real bad. Like it pains me that people had to go through these experiences. And some people went through their whole career, whether it was 6 years, 14 years, and maybe 20 years without ever being able to experience like that leader that made them feel like a human, that like hurt them, and stuff like that.
Because, they failed them.
Yeah, because we got people that misrepresent the mess. And we got some senior leaders, like, and I'm talking about chiefs, right? So E70, E9, some senior leaders that think sometimes like people are too loud in critiquing I'm going to say bad apples just to say it, but they think some people are too loud in critiquing the bad apples. Some junior sailors think that it's no voice when it comes to saying anything about the ones who make the bad decisions. And your messes, whether it's in the past or right in the present, how do you handle that chief that makes that poor decision?
What do you mean? Like, how do I handle interacting with them, or how do I handle with the command and what's being transparent to them?
Like when it's time to discipline them, when it's time to actually hold them accountable.
So I'm gonna say it's simple, but it's not that simple, but it is simple. I tell every chief I check in my command, I'm not the Facebook police, I'm not the adultery police, I'm not the marriage counselor, I'm not the Liberty, whatever. Like, whatever you do, you're in the Navy, you're a chief 24/7. What do you do on your own time? If you don't want the command to know about it, don't bring it to the command attention. Anything that come across my desk in official capacity, I take action on it. I brief my CO. I don't hide nothing, because the moment I lose my CO trust to run the mess, and then I lose his trust of being able to lead the mess, right? And so I don't keep nothing from the CO. Hey, sir, this is what I'm hearing. I don't know how true it is. We can look into it. I recommend investigating. I recommend whatever the case may be. Be transparent up the chain of command. Be transparent down the chain of command. More important, being transparent across the chain of command to the other chiefs and senior chiefs in my mess. So if you violate the UCMJ, this is not Chubbs taking you to NJP. It's not CMC Smith taking you to NJP. You violated the UCMJ, and you're going to be held accountable. Now, what that level of accountability is, depending on the charge or whatever, that's what the CO to decide. But I'm not sweeping it under the rug. And if you're a chief petty officer and if you violate the UCMJ, as the CMC, it's my right and duty to, report it up the chain of command.
Hey, I just want to add to that is that, Chubb, do you feel like that time has changed though? You know what I mean? What I mean by that is, like, back in the day a little bit, it could have probably got swept under the rug a little bit. We're going to take care of these guys. We're going to do this. We're going to girls. We're going to do this and do that. But I see, like, now though, like, I know you said that, but I hear that more now from a lot of CMCs, whatever. Like, no, if you do something, we're going to, UCMJ type stuff.
So I made chief in 2006. I've been in the mess since 2006.
Damn.
Right. And so
I was about to say the same thing. Like,
I wasn't in the Navy yet. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I came in 2003.
I wasn't in the Navy. I came in 2007.
So been in the Navy. I've been a chief since 2006. Made senior chief in 2010. Made master chief in 2014. And been a CMC ever since. Right. So as long as I've been in the mess, I haven't seen nothing from a khaki perspective get swept under the rug. Now, That's to my knowledge. Like, if something happened that I'm not previous to before I became CMC, I can't speak on. But when I started being in the know and behind the scenes and seeing what's happening, you're right. And especially being where I'm at now, I see all the unit sit reps, all the khaki misconduct. I'm going to tell you right now, man, these days, nothing's getting swept under the rug to my knowledge, right? Now, back in the day when I came in 93 and 94, I'm sure some people got away with some things, you know what I'm saying? People looked out for you and swept stuff up under the rug. I wasn't in them rooms, so I can't speak on it specifically. But there's some things that I'm pretty sure that just seeing, hearing Mesdek's room or seeing, with my own eyes or what's happening on Liberty or on deployment, from khaki people. Again, something probably happened, but just hearing Mesdek's rumors, nothing happened or this or that. But these days, I don't think no one wants to assume that risk from any member of the triad, and people are watching. It is so hard to get away with stuff these days, right? Sailors are watching. Yeah, sailors are watching now. If you're a khaki in a command that I'm a part of, will we put the results of the NJP or the captain mass or whatever in a POD or POW? Most likely not. But at an all hands call, I'm pretty sure the COI will address it, and that's good. It does two things. One, it's being transparent, let the command know that we're not sweeping nothing under the rug. And people are like, oh, you think you're re-victimizing the person by bringing it up? Yeah. No, I'm not re-victimizing. Right. More importantly, not only I'm not re-victimizing someone by mentioning what happened at the NJP, it's also serves as a deterrent to somebody's like, man, if they took so-and-so to NJP, what should they gonna do to me if I get caught, right? And so that kind of like keep people on the straight and narrow at times as well. And at the end of the day, humans are humans. They're gonna do whatever the hell they want to do. And because usually when people get caught doing something, normally that's not their first time. Their first time is getting caught. And then so when they get caught, right, they go, oh, I'm gonna switch the game up next time so I ain't gonna get caught again. But usually people do what's right. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that piece right there.
Yeah, and I think it's also a perception sometimes that it's being swept on the rug, just because for chiefs and officers, sometimes the disciplinary part just takes or the administrative part takes a long time. Mm-hmm. Like it can take from a year to 18 months for a case to be adjudicated, because it has to go up to PERS and assistant chief of Naval personnel or whatever, right. Secretary of the Navy. So it's a long process. So although you see this chief walking around and you think that this person isn't being held accounted for, on the junior sailor side, it only lasts about a month. They go to DRB, XOI, NJP. Right. They get their 45 after the AGF restriction, and it's done. They don't have that cloud over their head anymore. But as a chief and an officer, you got to deal with this for 12 to 18 months. Right. Just to find out what's going to happen.
They don't understand that in that 12 to 18 months, we can't speak on it because it's an open case, right? So we don't speak on it until it's all said and done. So the junior sailors normally don't see that piece right there, and then when they do see the chief or the officer lead the command after it has been adjudicated, in their mind, they just think, oh, they're sweeping them rug, they're just going to transfer them out. But you know that chief ain't making senior chief or master chief. You know that officer ain't making command at sea, right? And so they don't see or understand that piece right there. So administratively, the career is over with, right? Mm-hmm. But they want to see them, the 45 and half months pay. You know, my last two COs, they really weren't big fans of taking people pay, because they felt like you earned the pay, so you earned it, so that's your pay. So I really don't want to take your pay, especially if it's going to, hurt your family. Because most people, the higher you see you go up, usually have a family, a spouse or some children or a dependent. And so when you reduce somebody in rank, then you essentially take your money out of their mouth as well, right? Some CEOs, they're very conscious of that. They like, the punishment itself, them not making pay grade is punishment enough, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're not going to see the reduction in rating 45 when it comes to khakis. But I'm telling you, man, them DFCs and LOIs and those forced retirements, they hit just as hard as 45. But the junior sailors don't see that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you saying that they see you, when you said like people see everything nowadays, it made me think of that CMC that got caught in the gym during COVID with the working out with the weights, man.
Yeah. I saw that podcast. I didn't see the whole thing. I heard y'all talk about it, and I couldn't find it again when I clicked off of it by accident. During that COVID time, man, I had some good friends got in trouble for following COVID guidance, 6 feet apart, wearing a mask, not being in the room, being in the room for what was it, for an hour, you got to take a 15-minute break or something, following the rules, and got in trouble because they were still trying to operate as a command by doing CDBs, checking in sailors. Because what we was doing, not to go into a COVID, get on my COVID soapbox, but during that time, we had new sailors come into the Navy. And we're not physically putting eyes on them, putting them up in a room for 2-3 months. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And don't even know who these sailors are. So they coming into the Navy, expecting to see the world, expecting to fight the fight. And they go put them in a room for 2 or 3 months and don't even know they chain of command, don't know they CMC, don't know they CO and XO, don't know they sponsor, because we can't have interaction with people in fear of an outbreak, right? So per the guidance that we had at that time, you could bring people in, be 6 feet apart, you got more than 6 people in the room, somebody got to leave and all that. They was doing that. Yeah. And they got the business. And I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to say the command. They got the business because, and I talked to my brother. I was like, so what you get in trouble for? He's like, man, I'm just trying to put eyes on our sailors and make sure we're doing the right thing. We was following guidance. And then, I'm not going to say what was said to them, but essentially, we know what the guidance is. We don't want no one, it was a bad situation. So, that part right there, I was like, man, I feel bad for them. And they're good friends of mine. They got the business, man. Yeah. They got the business.
Hey, Chubbs, it's hard to escape that COVID conversation, and it's like you don't want to always talk about COVID. We never want to always, but it's so hard to escape it because COVID changed everything everywhere. I'm just speaking as an American, like whether that be out in the workforce or in the Navy, like it's a Navy before COVID and the Navy after COVID. Like a lot of things, like Fleet and Family Service has been affected by COVID. MWR, like on base MWR, been affected by COVID. You know, like it's just a pre-COVID Navy and an after. When I got to my last job, the UPC program was down. Remember, a NAV admin came. So I was the ADCO, the Alcohol and Drug Control Officer, and the NAV admin came out that was like, "Yo, we don't have to piss test people."
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so when I was getting to my next job, it was like, okay, now we need to recover from not piss testing people for the last 5 months. Like, so I don't know if we ever get back to where we were before COVID. I don't know if these fleet and family systems and some of these MWR things ever get as healthy as they used to be, because they lost a lot.
I think we're there, though. I think looking at the bases, looking at the facilities, looking at the programs that I personally run, I think we're there, but I agree with you that there is a difference between pre-COVID and post-COVID. But when you talk about fleet family service, and you talk about NWR and the Ombudsman program and all those entities right there, I think they're operating at a level where they could be efficient. I don't think they still got the COVID blanket on them, at least in the areas that I'm seeing and being part of. I don't know about on the East Coast or
so on the East Coast.
Areas you specific. On
the East Coast, I was at a like a Cub, and MWR was talking about that Liberty facilities for like gaming, right? So like nobody, like it was a time like when I was coming up, and of course technology changes things.
It was packed.
It was packed. The gaming center was packed.
I'm tracking.
Like recording studios, you could go play the guitar. But COVID kind of like got a bunch of these sellers in their rooms playing games, and
not out here.
Okay.
Them in WR, we call them the Liberty Station, like you said. We got them on 32nd Street. The pool table, the pool area, the gaming room, the theater, the small little theater over there, packed. You go over there. Sometimes you go doing the working out. It's like, damn, they don't work. How you playing Call of Duty at 10 o'clock in the morning?
They sure do.
Man, it's packed over there. So out here, there's no remnants of COVID. I'm telling you, man. The gyms are packed. The basketball courts, no remnants of COVID out here.
Yeah, that's what's up. And then speaking on that year, right? Because and it's a beautiful, I think, time to ask this question as well. George Floyd, right? So you had George Floyd, and then we also had January 6th. And the triads had a unique role in that conversation after January 6th. And where were you at that time?
Which one, Floyd or January 6th?
January 6th. So Floyd happened.
We talking about January 6th. You talking about the storming of the Capitol?
Yeah. So Floyd happened.
Yeah.
Nothing really kind of happened after Floyd happened. Like it was riots. It was stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then January 6th.
Floyd happened way back.
Yeah. And then after Floyd and that stuff, January 6th happened. Then when January 6th happened, we did this. I think we did it was either an operational pause or it was a kind of like a order for everybody to have training about hate groups and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that training was before the 6th, January 6th. I'm tracking where you're going. That was before the 6th.
Oh, so that was coming off the protests coming off Floyd.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Where were you at?
It was the talk. It was talks extremists in the ranks.
Yeah, the extremist conversation.
Extremists in the ranks, right? I was pre-comming Frankie Peterson Jr., DDG 121, named after the first African-American Marine Corps aviator and general. So shout out to DDG 120,
that's what's
121. So I was the CMC of 121 pre-common, and that came out that we had have that discussion about extremists in the ranks. So we got the command together at the movie theater on 32nd Street, and we talked about it. It was, I don't know, it was a little challenge. So, I had my marching orders. All right, so grab the command, let's talk about it. So the CO, XO, and I, we got together, and we had talking points. I think there was a briefing card or something, and it was more of a conversation of, like, we didn't want to control the conversation. We wanted to hear from the crew and see what can we do better. It wasn't like an out thing, like who's a hate monger within our command, like it wasn't that type of conversation. But it made people uncomfortable, both senior leadership and the junior sailors, because some people, the majority of say is like, why do I need to have this conversation? Like, I love everybody. I'm a sailor. You're a sailor. I don't look at race. I don't look at creed and all that stuff. That was the majority of the people. Some people's like, I feel like you out to get me. I don't know why they felt that way, but some people felt like you out to get me. And it was hard because, I'm a black CMC. My CO was white and my XO was a female Asian, right? So we had diversity in the triad, right?
Yeah,
and so, and each one of us at some point experienced some type of either racism or some type of discrimination, and because we talked about it as a triad, and so we was drawn from our own experience when we had that conversation. I don't know what I said specifically at the time, but I kept it on the surface. I didn't want to go into a deep dive or a rabbit hole. But what I wanted the crew to know at that time, and it was funny, now you got me going. I'm reflecting on the conversation, right? It's funny because it almost felt like a us against them, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what I was getting from my junior sailors. Mm-hmm. And that was around COVID too, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Because I remember the sailors specifically saying, you know what, I want to go protest. Not in uniform, in accordance with guidance, I want to protest and exercise my freedom of speech, even though I'm active duty, which they're entitled to do so, right? What did we do in the next following week or two? We sheltered everybody in place, right? And so people felt that this was an opportunity for me to silence my voice, right? What you mean I can't go protest? Because we was telling people you can't be in crowds. You got to be at home. Yeah. You got to be in a room less than 10 people or whatever the case may be. So some sailors actually felt, hey, this is a CMC, y'all just silencing us. This is a means to prevent us to protest, right? And so I had to get them to understand that that's not what the shelter in place is about, man. It's about readiness of the fleet. If the whole ship go down, or if the whole, not trying to go classified or OPSEC on self, but if we can't, do our job, that impacts readiness, right? And so if you get COVID, and we didn't know, I think we knew at that time how it spread. We knew it was airborne. I don't know, I forget what was the unknown at that moment, mm-hmm. but it spread quickly though, right? And we didn't have an answer for it, right? And so it spread quickly. We didn't have the answer, and people were sick and dying from it, right? And it was very unnerving at the time. And so what do? We know we can't catch it if I'm in the room by myself. So, what do? Shelter in place till we figure this stuff out. And so some junior sailors just felt like that was a means to silence them, the opportunity to protest. It became a us against them type thing. Then you throw in, on top of that, then you throw in the Black Lives Matter movement with that. Then it came with, people's coming to work with, a Black Lives mask on, and some people's coming to work with a Confederate flag mask on. Mm-hmm. It got out of control. Yeah. It was out of control, right? And so then we had to come out with the NAVAD, and it got to be all one color, all black, mm-hmm. or all white, or all khaki, right? Mm-hmm. Because, and even with that move, people felt like, so-and-so, what it looked like to junior sailors, at least to the ones that spoke to me about it personally. Oh, CMC, now I can't wear my Black Lives mask. Now we got to wear all white one or all black one. But a week ago when so-and-so wore his mask, mm-hmm. nobody said anything, right? These are the conversations sailors were having. Like, that's what they see. They don't care. I'm not going to say they don't care. I'm sure they do. But they don't see the big impact or, what every move that we make and everything that we say, anything we do, everything we wear, it's a message. It's you sending a message to someone, right? Or you saying something, and they felt like not being able to do that, you're silencing their voice, right? Mm-hmm. So that was they take on that whole movement of the sailors that talked to me at that time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember.
What's funny about what's funny about that? I was going to say something about that. The Black Lives Matter movement, not the Black Lives Matter movement, but I wanted to say something about Tish being a legal man. When you go CMC, you went to the Senior Enlisted course, the legal course yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the legal one?
I know you have. No, I'm asking Damo.
No, not yet.
You haven't. So when you take command, at some point you got to go through the senior. I forgot the name. It's Senior Enlisted legal course or senior legal courses.
Yeah, I forget.
It's a course that triad and senior people have to take, right? When you take command, right?
Mm-hmm.
During that course, I found out that it wasn't grounds for dismissal if you're a member of the KKK.
Nope, it sure ain't.
I found that out at that course, right? And so I asked the captain at the time who was giving us the training, and she told me, she's like, CMC, I see the look on your face. I was like, man, I just didn't understand how, like, someone being in the KKK is not grounds for separation when they values doesn't match up with Navy core values. And so if I'm side by side with somebody who's a member of the KKK, I'm supposed to trust them with my life, knowing that their values don't line up with my personal or the Navy core values. I really had a hard time with that. And she's like, I understand. And she was like, I just, as long as they're not being active or like handing out flyers and going to meetings and wearing they wardrobe or clothes, whatever, that's nothing, free speech. There's nothing we can really do about it. I was floored by that. I was so floored by that. When I finished that course, I emailed IG and asked for an explanation, and they came back with some of the same stuff that she was saying, that, it's not grounds for separation and this and that. And I was a little hurt by that, man. I was hurt because, we separate people from the Navy for less things than that. Second DUI, some other egregious charge like assault, and stuff like that. We separate people. But what that stands for in my eyes, and because I grew up, like my granddad was from Mississippi, we came up from Mississippi and we settled in Chicago. So I remember the stories, even in Chicago itself on the outskirts, like some of the cities I'm not going to name because I don't want them to think, oh, he don't hit bashing my city and calling us racist and stuff like that. But my mom would tell me growing up, hey, don't go to the city after dark, man. They burn crosses and they're not kind to us out there, right? And so I'm connecting the dots on that stuff. So I'm like, hey, being in the Navy, how's that not, grounds for separation? So that stuck with me for a long time when I learned that. And I was a little disappointed, a little hurt. And I don't want to question someone's motive. They standing next to me, if they, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they say something slick, like you thinking to yourself like, are you, like, what's going on here? Right. And so I don't know, that part right there just rubbed me the wrong way a little.
Yeah. I saw that in my neighborhood, man. And I'm from Philly. Like South Philadelphia, melting pot of people. You got Italian people, Irish people, Black people. Yeah. And we had a rally one year. We had it was a year where I don't know what was going on, but racial tension was high. I mean, it's when it was Irish against Black, really in a certain, neighborhood. It was to the point now, mind you, like I said, I'm not from Mississippi. I'm not from Georgia. I'm from Philly, and it was a certain point in time where we couldn't walk through a certain neighborhood. Like if you was Black, you couldn't walk through that neighborhood. So the FOI had to come, Farrakhan and the Nation NOI, like all of them had to come because the Klan came. So it was like a back and forth between Klan rallies and NAACP and the Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam coming through. And I'm from Philly. like I don't know how to how to express that.
How to navigate these waters, right?
Yeah, all of that happened where you move in, people move out, and I'm talking about South Philly, mafia town, and stuff like that. And so basically I'm saying you're not really, that ain't a stretch when when you bring all of that up. Cause I didn't feel love when they came and did the rally, and that was my first major. I lived in Jacksonville, so I had way more after that. But my where you go to the restaurant and you just don't get served food. Like that's in Jacksonville. Like you just go to a restaurant and you just sit there like, oh shit, we gotta leave.
You're not gonna get served.
But Philly was my first major exercise of racial hatred that I saw and experienced, man. In the inner city, it's crazy. And then
I had a few, and I'm not going to deep dive into them because I spent all day on them. But one when I was serving in the military, in particular, it's comical now as I think about it. I told you I was undesignated, and and I was in debt, so we used to always tie knots, and rolling hitch, bowling, a slip half knots. I don't know the names of them now, right? But we was tying knots, and I learned them pretty well, and I was able to tie them. So I remember just being two, You know, he was like, tie this knot, boom, 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 tied it. He's like, well, tie this knot, boom, boom. Cause I was bragging about how good I could tie these knots. Cause like I say, I'm from Chicago and I'm doing something that somebody taught me. I learned it and now I could replicate it. Right. So I'm proud of this moment. Right. Like, so he's like, you can't tie this knot, boom, boom, tie this knot, boom, boom. I'm like knocking it out the wall. It's like a impromptu quiz. Right. He's like, I got a knot you can't tie or you can't get out of. This dude tied a noose and threw it at me. He's a second class. I was seeing him. So I picked up the noose. I just looked at it, right? But I looked at him. I didn't feel threatened by him. I didn't feel like my life was in danger. But what I didn't know now, which I knew then, I said that backwards. What I didn't know then, which I know now, like that was highly inappropriate for him to be doing that, right? As a petty officer, someone senior me, and I even threw in the race, the different race that was there, right? And so when he threw that at me, I looked at it. I was like, what you want me to do with this? And he started laughing. He said, no, I'm just messing with you. And he took it out of my hands. So he didn't want me to have that. He didn't want me to have that noose because I would have walked that noose right to Chief, right? But a split second when he threw it at me, I was more angry that he threw it at me and it hit me than the fact that it was a noose, right? I'm like, you're throwing this at me, right? And so when I picked it up and looked at it, when I saw it was a noose, and I'm like in my mind, I'm like, you stupid, like. And I thought to myself, man, if I beat the crap out of this dude, would I get in trouble for fighting him or would he get in trouble for instigating? So, and it was a quick thought. Nothing ever happened. I never said anything. I share that story every now and then when this type of topic come up. Yeah. But if something like that was to happen today, he wouldn't survive. He wouldn't survive. Yeah, he wouldn't survive.
He'd have been done.
He wouldn't survive both administrative and legally through the NJP, and he won't survive with the sailors today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Them sailors today they're not having it. Like, you know, I was more level headed and more calm. The sailors today, you throw a noose at a young black sailor, you probably get some hands on real quick.
Real quick. Hands and feet, man.
Hands real quick.
Might catch your elbow or two.
Yeah.
So
man, I don't want to get into my stories, man. I'm from Mississippi, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
But I want to share something real quick, though. I was raised mostly, like my mom, I said this before, my mom, man, she was in and out of prison a lot, right? Me growing up. So I was raised mostly by my grandmother. My grandma was born in 1923. I'm going to say that again. She was born in 1923, man. And, you know, when you start coming to age, right? You start thinking about a lot of stuff going on. You start seeing a lot more. You start actually paying attention a lot more. And I remember asking my grandma, because I want to know, you know, you was born in 1923, grandma. Like you got a lot of, you know a lot of what's going on and all this stuff. Man, she pretty much like if I bring up a conversation like that, she'd like curse me out and like go in her room for a while, man. She'd be gone. Like for me, it seemed like it hurt her. So to even talk about stuff that what I got from it anyway. She never really talked about stuff that much about it. But what I got from it was that she didn't want to talk about it because it hurt her so much. That's what I got out of the whole conversation. She leaves, she go to her room, and she was like, for like an hour, then she'll come back out. She never wanted to like speak on none of that stuff. And trust me, Mississippi, 1923, man, 30, 40, bro. Oof. Yeah. It had wild going on down there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's forming, right? Like some of that stuff is like in you, right? It's like, you know, so we can't like, you know, and I don't want to get on like like nothing right now, but like you can't escape. That's like foundational stuff in your life. Like it's a part of your makeup. So when people start doing this, like, hey, we all won this, we all won that. No, we all got differences. You know what I mean? And that's where, again, we talk about the diversity, and that's where it's super important. You know, we can't discount other people. All of us got some story. That's the reason why I was talking about mine being in Philly. Because even growing up in Philly, I went through this. So we can't discount, you know, our differences. Like we can't. That's what makes us stronger.
Right.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Tish was trying to say something. What were you trying to say?
I had for Chubbs about, you know, we talked about experiences and things like that earlier, man. And as a leader, or not necessarily a CMC, man, you had one of those things like challenges or things we go through make us better, right? Did you have anything like that in your career that happened to you that you know you can look back on and say, hey, this made me better?
Yeah, I would say in general, I'm trying to think of a specific situation. I'm very like transparent, man. Like I don't think there's no secret to success. I don't think there's no secret to failure. I think I take advantage of opportunities. Give credit when credit's due. Keep your mouth shut when you don't know something. Like all that stuff. Like over my time was coming up in the Navy. I use those things I just spoke of. Just to keep me in a position to be relevant. When you're in a position to be relevant, like amazing things can happen, man. Like I told you, I could be in a room full of people who's like everybody's listening to me and watching me, and I'm the big dog, I'm the mentor. Well, in that same room, somebody else started talking. Now I'm a student because I'm following suit with what you're saying, right? And so as I came up in like I said, as I came up in the Navy, as I came up in my ranks, nothing specifically, but just being able to read the room and being able to read the opportunity that I'm currently in. And I don't know, it just worked out for me, man. It just worked out for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I probably didn't answer. I probably didn't give you the answer you was looking
good.
for.
Yeah. That's good. You said something, I'll give me 1 second. When you said something about like, keeping your mouth shut if you don't know you don't know the situation, what's going on. Man, that's so huge, man. You know how much gossip changes the environment, changes things that goes on, man. Somebody who's talking out their ass and don't know what the hell going on.
You know how many times the CEO or the admiral or somebody say, CMC, you got anything to add? No, sir. No, ma'am. Because like I'm not gonna speak just so you can hear my voice, right? Mm-hmm. I don't do it, man. Like if I got value to add, like ops intel or at navigation brief, SEALs like CMC, anything to add? No, sir. Everything's been said. Like, I'm not going to speak just to say something, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if something was left off the table, if I could add value to it, yeah, I'm going to speak on it, right? Even at my Chiefs meeting, they got CMC, you got anything? I'm good. Y'all said it all. Because that's just not me, though. I'm not going to speak on everything just because I'm my position.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chubb, so I'm like cracking the door open and like sliding my foot into a room that you've been in for a minute now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And as a young boy, just cracking the door open and sliding into this room, man. Like, while I got you here, you got any advice for me?
Yeah, like going into your first command tour, I would say hold the standards, man. The moment, when I say the moment that you don't hold the standard and your chiefs see it or your petty officers see it, they're going to try to take advantage of it, right? And so what I mean by that is, quick C story, checked in my first command, and I had all the program leads come brief me on their program. And I had this, the second person to come brief me was this YM2 on EFM and on a family care plan. Came in, man, she had a binder for each one. A binder for EFM, a binder for family care plan. She printed out talking points on a sheet of paper, hand CMC, this for you to take notes on as I'm briefing you. I'm like, look, second class, came in, squared away. Boom. I went through and I had my little CMC COB checklist going up, checking off the program, giving it a percentage of efficiency on, and if I like the presenter and the program manager, she A across the board on everything. Boom, boom, boom. Next people come in and brief me on DAPA, CFL, and I think UPC. They all chiefs and senior chiefs now. Mm-hmm. All right, two of them was out of BCA standing. So I asked her, one came in briefing me with chew in his mouth, right? He's like, I'm here to brief my program. Not like that, you not. I said, hold on. I said, where your binder at? And so now I'm asking these questions based off of interaction I had with a second class petty officer. I'm like, where your binder at? Where your talking points? I'm like, where your binder? Where your talk? He's like, I thought I was just gonna come in here and brief you on what. Hey man, when you come brief me, first of all, don't come brief me with chew in your mouth. Now, if I come to your work center, if I'm interrupting you in your spot and you got chew in your mouth, have at it. But if you coming to brief me or any member of the triad, don't be walking in PWA and coming in my office and chewing your mouth. That's one. Mm-hmm. Two, you're not ready for this brief. Where's your binders? Where's your talking points? You coming in here, you just gonna do a drive-by? That's not what's gonna happen. So come back when you're ready. Oh, and by the way, are you in BCA now? No, I'm not in BCA. You got we got PFA coming up. We got the PRT coming up. And I told him, I said, if you're not within standards come PRT, you're going on FEP. That's what I told him. And then the next chief came in behind him, the same chief told him the same thing. Now, this is my first CMC tour. And I don't want to come in like, and it was aviation. It was aviation. And they did not like a surface CMC. Yeah. But I got to knock on wood because I heard horror stories about the maintenance master chief not getting along with the CMC and then the CO back in the maintenance master chief. I heard all the horror stories. Me too. So I would knock on wood and say I was very grateful that I didn't walk into that situation. But I had some people that weren't in standards, right? And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to let this slide, right? And so I gamble on that they will be in standards come to PRT because I really didn't want to put them on PFA, right? They got in standards, so I didn't have to put them on PFA. So that was a win in my eyes. But the biggest win was that it got out to the command. It was like, man, CMC putting chiefs on FEP. That's what people were saying. That was the message. Yeah. It was like, if CMC's putting his chiefs on FEP because they understand which thing he gonna do to us, right? Like, so that was a win for me. I won that. That was like a mini war that I won with holding people accountable, right? And then another thing I did when I checked in, we didn't advance people, man. We advanced, and I'm huge on advancement. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm all about making second class, first class, chief, senior chief, master chief. That's the only thing I hang my hat on that, man, because that's what I feel like I could help someone achieve. Like, it's both physical and money wise. People can see advancement, right? I checked in, man. We advanced 3 people. One was a PG, one was just checked in. So we advanced 3 people off the Navy-wide advancement exam. So I asked the mess, I was like, we only advanced 3 people? What are we doing for our training? What's our training plan? And they was like, what's that? I was like, training, like, do we do divisional training, like twice a week, 3 times a week? They said, no, we do maintenance training. We train on the jets and we hold maintenance training. So I asked the question because I don't know. This is my first tour in aviation. I said, does the maintenance training equate to in-rate training for advanced? And they're like, well, some of it do and some don't. I said, all right, starting next week, Tuesday and Thursday, we're doing division in-rate training. And our advanced percentage started going up. That was another win for me, right? Because now that spoke to my credibility, that spoke to my, I have your best interest in heart if you just believe in me, right? I got you. I'm not going to steer you wrong. They push back. Oh, if we do division training, now we got to do, well, not division. If we do in-rate training, now we got to find time to do it because we already do maintenance training. I'm like, look, man, these sailors, they'll do anything they want, you tell them to do, right? They'll work they tail off for you, right? But if they're not advancing, if they're not making that next pay grade and that money, man, they're going to quit on us. They're going to shut down, right? And so it worked out that our numbers started going up. So that was March. In September, I think we made 15. Going into the following March, I think we made like 30. And our numbers just started going up and up and up, right? Sadly, to include our chiefs, I think we made 1 chief when I checked in. And then that following year, so now I got a whole year with these guys. And then the next whole year with these guys, we made 6 chiefs. Then the following year, we made 8. And so I remember when the results come out, I pulled it up, and then I had my mess in front of me. I had the CO standing there, and they was like, how many we make, CMC? I was like, 1. I'm counting it out. I'm like, 1, 2, 3. So when I said 3, and everybody's like, nah, in the head's like, that's good numbers for a squadron. And I was like, 4, 5. When I said 5, they was like, oh, you shitting me, man. We ain't make 5. I was like 6, and 9 people standing up. They was like, you lying, CMC. I was like 6, 7. I was like 8. They was like, there's no way. And I turned my computer around. 8 selectees. Right. And so, because I believed in training these guys and giving them what they need to be successful. And I believed in the mess. Like, we got it. We just, like, some people were just lazy about it. Right. And when I said sadly, after I left, that not that year, but the following year, unfortunately, the numbers started going back down because we wasn't doing the stuff that, we was doing. I was there, but it ebbs and flows though. It's all good.
Yeah. What I took from that, I'm gonna shut up y'all in a second, man, but I took something from that, but what I took from that is like right is right, so a lot of times, like, people come into different environments, organizations. Like, for instance, me, right? I'm coming into a carrier as an electrician who only been on small boys. And a lot of times you hear, oh, that ain't how we do it on the carrier. That ain't how we do it. That ain't how we do it.
That's exactly what I heard.
You know, and it's like, this coming out the NSCM 300. This coming out the tech manual. Like, what you mean that ain't how we do it?
That's exactly what I heard.
Right. And
that ain't how we do it. That ain't how we do it, CMC. I even had one CMC, and I cut you off. He told me, I can't wait till you leave so we get back to being a real squadron.
Oh,
yeah.
He told me that.
Yeah.
But but you know what? When I was there, it was a successful command, and our numbers proved it, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's all good though.
Yeah, and it's a chief somewhere that's transitioning somewhere. They about to go somewhere that they ain't never been, and they about to get that same spill, right? And I'll tell you like this, man. I would rather have that and somebody mad than like have a moment where you be like, I was right all along, right? But where I'm at right now, I just recently had a few moments where I was like, I was right all along. You know what I mean? Like I should have, you know, pushed harder on my theory, or I could have pushed harder on this one or that one. And you don't want to do that. You know what right is. You looked in the instruction. You read everything you need to know. If you know what you talk about, you know what you talk about. A lot of people do that. That ain't how we do it over here. They don't check this when they come. They don't do this when they come. Nah, man. Like, go with your gut for the most part and go with your instinct. That's what I like. That's a lot of what I took from what you were saying in that story.
When people come to when they come to me with a problem or with a question and we could do something, first thing I say, what does the instruction say? If we could get to yes without violating the instruction, have at it. Let's do it. If we could get to yes, but it's not really in accordance with, hey, let's breach this up because I'm not going to assume this risk, right? I can't assume this risk, right? And so as long as it's in accordance with, we can make it happen. But another thing for you when going into your command, you said something, you know, allow my mess to lead, right? Sometimes they come in with a plan, and with an idea, and they want to get to the end, and I know it's not going to work. Like I know because I've seen it 100 times out of 100 times it failed, right? But if I don't allow them to give me their solutions and allow them to work through it and see if it works or not, they're going to stop coming to you. They won't come in like, well, I'm not going to ask Chubb. He's just going to tell me no, right? So if I got time to rebound from whatever it is that we're doing, and if it's not going to damage equipment, if it's not going to hurt a seller, I allow people to fail at times if I could use it as a teaching moment, right? As long as I got time to recover from it, if it's not going to damage equipment or hurt a seller, I'll be like, okay, let's do it. And they come to me like, that didn't work, Chubbs. And in my mind, I'll be like, I know, but I don't tell them I know. I'll be like, so what are we going to do now? What about this, this, and this? And I'm like, okay, let me try that. And then it works because if you always say, because I'm not a 51%er, people know that in my mess. I'm not a 51%er. I'm very transparent. If I agree with what the mess says, I take it to the CO. Sir, this is what's coming out the mess. I think it's a good plan. If it's something I really don't agree with, but the mess think it's a good idea, or this what's coming out the mess, I tell the CEO, hey, sir, this is what the mess, this is what we present from the mess. He's like, what you think, CMC? And I would give him my honest feedback between him and I as the CO and CMC. And I'm still brief, and I'll tell the mess, hey, I don't agree with this. If the CO asks me, this is what I'm going to tell them. And we're good with that because I have to be that way because I'm not going to mom and pop the mess and my CO. And I'm not going to lose the confidence of my CO, and I'm not going to lose the confidence of my chief's mess because we all got to work together if we're going to be successful. If you compromise, if you mom and pop either one of them, then they're not going to trust you. They're not going to come to you, and they're going to marginalize you. And once you're marginalized as a command senior enlisted leader, you're not going to get nothing done. Not at all. So I hope just keep that in the back of your mind when you're doing your command. And hey, always give me a call, text, email, and I help you navigate through some things. But it is your command to lead, though. Let your CO know that, and let your mess know that.
Thanks, Joe.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Hey, so Chubbs, I got something I know you finna be excited about to talk about, and that's the CPO, results just came out for board, right? So I know you want to get into that and give these sailors some good advice. But before we get there, it's even my do better, right? Because I do got to do better today, right? And I know Chubbs probably got a good one too. Everybody got to go, but I got something about every time when sailors first classes make board, they come to you and they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, you got any advice? You go through their package and say, hey, I put this in here. I wouldn't put this in here and all this stuff. And then we'll say something, but it's your record. You can do what you want to do type stuff. Man, it's 2024. We can't come up with a damn plan and say, hey, put this in there or don't put this in there. Do this and do that. Why we can't just do it? Because every time I give you this great advice that I think I'm giving you, then I tell you, hey, it's up to you though. Right? And then the next person, they going to look at their record, going to tell them the same thing.
Right.
or whatever. It seems like it should be a standard. That's just my little 2 cents on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, so you're right. So what I tell people, you hit the nail on the head, right? First, I say, what does the instruction say? If I tell, I'm an instruction guy. Whatever the admin says, do that. That's what I tell everybody that wants me to look at their package. It's like, I think I'm going to submit a career summary letter. I think I'm going to submit this. I'm going to submit that. I said, what does NAV admin say? Right? It says no staples, no highlight. Like whatever it say, that's what you submit, right? So that's my official, stance when people come to me looking at their package, right? And personally, I would say when I made chief, I submitted a career summary letter because everybody told me to submit one. It was about 8 or 10 of us up for chief, and I didn't make it that year. The next year, 8 of us up again, and I was on Halsey. 4 of them submitted their career summary letter, and I submitted whatever was in accordance with the guidance at the time, right? So I didn't do a career summary letter and all that stuff. And we all made chief. So the year before, we all submitted, nobody made it. The next year, half submitted and half didn't, and we all made it. So I don't know, right? So I would say whatever guidance say, that's what I would do. I had this one chief, and I'm a CMC. I had this one chief telling first classes, we was reviewing packages. He's like, yeah, when the year I made chief, I submitted a picture, and I'm just shaking my head, right? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, they told me don't submit a picture, but I submitted one and I still made chief. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm thinking, every first class he ever mentored about submitting a package, I'm pretty sure is sitting in the picture.
It was a picture because, I said, boy. It was a picture.
Because my point exactly, because he said the year I made chief, although they told me don't do it, I did it. I'm just telling that, like going back to what you said, I'm just telling your package though. I'm telling you what I did with your package though, right? It's wrong, man. Whatever guidance say, do what the guidance say, man. Yeah. And if you're not selected, sorry, we'll look at it again next year. But the flip side of that coin, when you tell somebody specifically what to do, that's all they're going to do. And then the ownership is on you and not them. When Senior told me I had to do this, I did, and I didn't make it. Man, he don't know what he's talking about. So no, I'm not going to give you that out. So CMC said the only thing I had to do was this, and I did it, and I still didn't make it. No, like what does the instruction say? What does guidance say? What does the precept say? What does the convening order say? Go off guidance, man. If you're doing that and you putting your best foot forward, and if you're not selected, just know that you did what you're supposed to do in accordance with. Now, if you get selected, your story is, hey, I went off guidance and I got selected, And so you come to me looking for advice on submitting a package. It's funny. One of my other boys, he's going to see this. He's a warrant officer now. He got picked up for OSC back in the day. I was OS Master Chief, and I wanted to make OS Master Chief, OSCM, before I went into the CMC program. And everybody was pushing me to go Command Scene Chief as an OSCS. I was like, no, I want to make Master Chief in my rate, and then I'm going to go, right? And I did. So in the time I was waiting to pick up command, I was OSCM before going CMC. This OS1 come to me. He's like, hey, I was told to come have you look at my package. And I looked at it, and he was a squared away dude. Man, his uniform was squared away. He had a good package. And at the time, and I told him, I said, looking at your package, I think you got a good shot of picking up chief. I said, the only 2 things that I would see that may be a detractor is that this is your first look, so it's going to be really challenging going up to more senior people, going over, competing with other senior people. And 2, you haven't been to C, so you haven't been to C as an OS1, as an LPO, running a combat, running a ship. As an OS Master Chief, I probably want to see you operate like that before I select you to OSC. But that's just my own, running through my mind of what I did to make OSC, right? He's like, thanks for your feedback. Dude picked up chief that year, right? And he made a little post. People told me I wasn't make it, told me I had to go to C. But then he gave me he said the post, he gave me a shout out. Shout out to Master Chief Smith who looked at my pack and I respected him. And then that same year, later he got selected LDO, right? So I went on his post right after him. I said, but don't ask the Master Chief now, because people, you can make Chief and LDO in the same year. And they ain't been to C and they ain't been on the ship. So I don't know what I'm talking about. We laughed about it and we friends to this day, man. We still laugh and we joke about it. But at the end of the day, whatever makes you, remember, I made chief in 06, right? I had to mail my package in. You know how stressful your wrist and hand is, so you at the mailbox and you going like this, because once you drop it in the mailbox,
that's it.
It's it, right? You know, I got everything. So I'm doing this as I'm putting it in the mailbox. Nowadays, you guys, all you do, what you submit something online, you email somebody or something. And if you mess up, you email another one, addendum to the first one. It wasn't none of that back then, right? And so, yeah, man. So when you ask me, what do I submit? Or, you know, it is your package in the day. I would tell people what you feel comfortable or what you think the board should see. That's what you should submit. But there's a guidance. If you're in accordance with it, you can't be wrong. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, Damon. Because from sitting on it, last year from sitting on it, all we did was follow the guidance. That's all we did. We ain't do nothing different. Like we read the precepts in the convenient order every day before we started. And we just followed. It wasn't no secret sauce.
Yeah, no secret to success.
It was the people, that black and white, man.
Yeah.
That where you get jumbled up is when people go to like bad people and they did this and they did their picture and all that. So it's like, all right, all we looked at was the 2-3 things that it say you're gonna look at on the precepts. That's all we looked at.
And what people fail to realize, who's briefing your package, they are the most important person to you at that moment, right? So you get a good briefer, you know, and you got a good package, you know, you might be in like Flynn, right? You get somebody up there. You know, my mom always said life is like a box of chocolate. You might get looked on.
People don't know how important what you just said was.
Hey,
some people might be mad, but yo, you are right, man. 100% right, man. You get some really good briefers.
And you know what? And you don't even know these people that are speaking on your behalf. So you never know who, you know how many times I walk past somebody and I see their name and I be like, and I put 2 and 2 together, man, you never know who's speaking on your behalf at any given moment. So that's why I always treat people with respect, both up and down the chain of command, you know, because you never know, man. You never know.
Yeah. And then I want to, just to put the icing on the cake, a good package is going to inspire a good briefer, though. I don't want no seller to be like, oh, yeah, that's why I ain't making it, because I ain't have a good briefer every single time. A good record and a good package is what's going to get that briefer even more excited about briefing your pack. And they ain't doing nothing extra. They ain't putting no sauce on it. They just running through. He got this. He got the EL. He got this qual, best qual, fully qual, sustained superior performance.
Right.
But that's all off of your record.
You know what? If your record is good to go, when I made Master Chief, I didn't have to you only have to submit some. People always think, I got to get my package right. I got to submit some. I'm like, well, what are you submitting? Is your package up to date? Is everything current? If everything's good to go, there's nothing to submit. It's on file. They got it, man. But people got this thing in their mind that, I got to submit a package. Well, is something missing? Like, is your record good to go? Like, I'm just going to submit. I want to make sure they see my NAM. Is your NAM on your eval? Is it on your record already? Yeah, but I want to. All right, well, what do instructions say? What do guidance say?
Yeah.
That's a topic in itself, man. Boards is a topic.
It is a topic like that, man. No doubt about that. No doubt about that, man. Hey, Chubbs, go ahead and give him some advice, man, for the little young cats that's just made board. You got some advice?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to bring him in my mess on the 8th of April as well for CNSP. But, yeah, so don't wait till, you made board now. So don't wait till you selected for chief to get in standards, BCA standard. I hope you're running. If you are a runner, if you're not light dude or limb dude, be able to PT, and just come in with an open mind. What I see and hear so many times when people are selected board eligible, then they selected for chief. Now they want to get going, and I tell people all the time. Changing the uniform don't change who you are. Like, whoever you are right now as a board eligible, that's who you're going to be as a chief. I mean, it is like, we get 6 weeks of training. And to your point, Damon, when you said early when you was talking about the C chief said they just make evil chief or bad chiefs, whatever. Look, man, we're giving you 6 weeks to stress you, to see how you operate under pressure, to give you guidance, to give you a way forward, to give you the tools to be successful when you stand out there as a newly pinned chief to run your division and run your department. But who you are characterly inside, who you are as a person, as a man or a woman, as a human being, you're going to be the same person when you put on that khaki right? Because I'm not changing who you are. That's deep inside, right? I'm just trying to give you the tools to help you make better decisions, right? And so if you're board eligible, right, think about some of the things that you want to change as a chief. Think about some of the leaderships that you admire to be. Even some of the ones that you didn't have respect for. Why didn't you have respect for? Take that quality and make sure that, you cancel that out of your leadership toolkit, right? It comes quick, right? So board eligible list came out yesterday. We convened in the CPO board, and then the results will be out August sometime. It moves fast. So you don't got time to be like, hey, when I put on chief, I'm going to do this. No, you got to be doing it now. You got to put your mindset in it right now. And so on the 8th of April, like I said, I'm going to get my board eligibles together. We're going to help manage some expectations. I'm going to tell them, hey, you're not P10, which I don't get, man. How we got all these EP first classes? They make chief, selected a chief. Nobody got a failed PFA on their record, and we go running, and they can't do 10 push-ups. They can't run a mile and a half. They can't. I look at every year, y'all all EP, and nobody got a failed BCA, but can't nobody run a mile and a half without falling out? Can nobody do 10 push-ups? Like, come on, man. And I'm looking at my CFLs like, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah. So
hey, that's real though, man. That's
so
real.
Get ready now. Don't wait until your name is on the list to get ready. Like, get ready now, man. And it takes work, man. I'm up. My alarm goes off at 3:45. My wife hates it because it wakes her up, but I know it do. So I'm out the house at 4:30. So I'm in the gym at 5, so I could get my workout in and be on station at 7:30 to run the day, right? Because that's just my routine. I'm a morning person. I got to get it in the morning. I don't have the time to do it in the afternoon. I'm not going to do it at lunchtime. It never happens. Even if you try, you never work out. And then after work, my body's like, well, what are you doing? We're not doing this after work, right? So I sacrifice some sleep and I get it in the morning because I don't want to be the CMC that can't PT. That I don't want to be the CMC that can't wear I'm all out of shape and fat in my khakis and my whites and stuff. No, I'm running with my selectees during the season. I'm running with the command doing the PRT because it's important for them to see senior leadership out there doing that type of stuff, man. So being transparent, I'm not sweeping myself under the rug. I'm not going, just put my numbers there. I'm not doing that. No, I'm running. You're going to see CMC Smith out there running with the crew. Mm-hmm. So there's no doubt about that. Oh, weigh in, first one in line. Come on, Captain. We weighing in first. Come on, sir. Come on, man. They had to see that stuff because when they see it, they're like, oh, okay. If CMC, he's doing it, he's holding his mess accountable, he's going to hold us accountable too. So that's how I look at it. Do it work? I don't know. Do I motivate people in that? I don't know. But I am no PT guru. There's a lot of people in the mess and a lot of my brothers and sisters in the CMC community. I mean, they run at 5, 6, 10 miles a day, and I heart day and like they post, I'll only do what I do, right? And so I hope that what I do is motivating people like they're motivating me, right? And so whatever you can do physically, that's your journey, that's your story. But what's not going to happen is you're not going to catch me out there looking all crazy and not in uniform and not being able to do what I'm with. I turned 51 on my birthday, right? So I think that's 25 push-ups, I think. I could do 25 push-ups. Sweet, right?
Hey.
Got them old man numbers.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Hey, that's all I got for questions. I know we got to do better segment coming up. You guys got anything else?
No.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you spoke briefly about your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So she is a retired YNC, right?
Correct.
How long were y'all married?
We got married in 2020.
Okay. Oh, so
I'm looking at it, make sure I'm getting my dates
before
right.
COVID.
Yeah,
don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. You better get that day right.
You didn't see my hands; they was on the table. I was sort of doing this,
So you said 2020, right? January 2020?
Mm-hmm.
So that was right before COVID. Okay. So during this time you were commissioned in the Peterson?
I was commissioned in the Peterson. Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have any deployments or anything while you were...
No, well, we dated. Well, so then I was on Peterson, but then Forrest Carson, who's now retired, call me up and say, hey, Lake Champlain is about to deploy. They don't have a CMC. I know you could do 3 years on Peterson because that's what you currently got orders to, but I really appreciate it if you could come take Lake Champlain on deployment. So I ended up taking Lake Champlain on deployment. We was dating at the time when I went on deployment, so we didn't get married till I came back off deployment. Or did we get married? No, she's shaking her head. See? We got married before I went on deployment.
Get him. Get him.
Hey, so we got married before I went on deployment. Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Married, yes.
Look, so I'm sweating over here for you, Chubbs. Like she asked me.
I'm like, now sweat. Hey, I'm sweating. I'm like, now that's a tough question. All these questions, the only one I'm sweating on is marriage. Man, what kind of?
No, but I was gonna ask, because you're real big on family. From knowing you and from watching your social media, you're real big on family. You got your kids going into the Navy, got a grandbaby. With both of you, with being dual military, how do you navigate that? Because Navy has a high divorce rate.
Yeah.
So the Navy puts this strain on the marriage. So how do you navigate through that? What some of the I guess pointers that you can give some of the sailors?
Yeah, I mean, being married and being in the Navy or being in the armed forces, especially when you deploy, it's hard, it's challenging. I would say you got to do what works for you, right? And so, like, what works in your relationship might not work in somebody else's relationship, right? And so, and it's always a work in progress, right? Some tips I would give, people that's married or having challenges when they're on deployment, like, I try not to get mad and argue while you're away. If something don't go your way and you're mad about something now, being mad and angry, that's a natural feeling. Like, you can't tell somebody you can't get mad or upset about something. It's how you communicate it. It's how you release it and how what you do with it, right? So speaking out of anger, acting out of anger, that would never be me, right? I'll go quiet 3-4 days and I'll say, no, be mad as hell, right? But I'm not speaking out of anger. I'm not calling you D's and H's, and I'm not saying MF this, MF that. I just be quiet and like run stuff through my head, right? And so I'm not acting out of anger. First of all, I'm not tearing up nothing I bought and that I own and love, right? People want to break stuff when they mad. I'm not doing that, right? And I'm not going to hit my wife and beat my kids and do stuff like that because I'm not going to jail and I'm not losing my paycheck and stuff like that. So
you don't want to get beat up because Tanisha look like she got a good right hook.
I mean, she's from LA. They all got good and stuff, right? She always want to gang bang on me. We be riding motorcycles, and she want to wear all red and all blue in certain neighborhood. I'm like, we're not doing that. You need to change. Like, we're not doing that. So she got a little thug in it, but no, we don't. We try not to fight. We're not trying not to fight. We don't fight, but we married. We're a married couple. We have our ups and downs like every other marriage. But what works for you, the things that works for you, you got to capitalize on that, right? And one day at a time. One day equals, one day, like, man, how you stay married, how you stay happy, just one day at a time. If you have enough good days, then over the years and over the time, you have a good, marriage and a good life. But that's what I would say, man. What I would say on that.
Yeah. And you talked about like arguing while you're away, right? My biggest regret ever is typing up like the heat when I was my biggest regret of my marriage. Right. And we got a great marriage, right? But I believe it's got a little kink, right? From the time I was away and I was typing up the heat. It's like well thought out heat. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going to write this, I'm going to do that. And honestly, that's my biggest regret, man. I would never do that again. And I would always stop anybody from doing that. Cause these are things I said, Chubbs, that I could never take back. I could never take it back.
So you validate what I'm saying. Don't speak out of anger. Don't act out of anger because you can't get it back, right? And emails is fine. But what we do, we write letters, man. I'll write her a letter a day, and then till we have mail call, let's sit up, and then I just send it, and then she'll look up one day. She'll go like 2-3 weeks without no mail from her. We'll communicate via email just to make sure bills paid, kids is good to go, you got food, what's up. But like the deep stuff and the really sentimental stuff, I'm pulling in a port. I'm getting cars from different places. I'm writing shit down. I'm writing letters. we pull in, and on my last deployment, I came home. We didn't have mail call like for 3 months off my last deployment. So I had all these letters, and I just walked off the pier, and I went to go get my hair cut as I'm getting my, like she picked me up before we go home. I got to get the fresh cut, right? And so she's sitting there, we're in the barbershop, and as I'm sitting in the barbershop in my chair, I'm handing her like a stack of letters like this. And so my barber's cutting my hair. He's like, "Hey, what's wrong with your wife?" He's like, "Look over there," and she's just over there crying. Like letter after letter.
Yeah.
Letter after letter. As I'm getting my hair cut, right?
Still in that.
And so I was like, as I'm getting tightened up, I was like, yeah, I'm winning now, man. Like, tighten that up. You got to keep the fresh fade, right? Keep the fresh fade. And then I'm going to go ahead and, so that I was winning on that point. So, but that works for us, right? So the letters and, gift packages from her and letters from her and keeping people, my family engaged on what I'm doing to keep them involved. So whatever works for you, I say capitalize on that. Some of my friends, they don't do social media. They don't do I think we got a good social media. What you want to call we're pretty active on social media. I think her more than me. No, she got a lot of fans, right? We're not she over there smiling at me, but she got we're pretty active on social media, but we respect each other's boundaries and we respect our friends, and our friends respect us. More importantly, right? Nobody that value our relationship puts us in a place or in a situation that brings our relationship under questioning, right? And we do that for our friends do it for us. And so it works for us. So whatever works for you, I say that's what you capitalize on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one last thing. So I heard that you had a bad moment with the Chicago Bulls.
I had a bad moment with the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, you drove up there to a game.
No.
Did you ever drive up to a Bulls game and then they lost?
Are you a Clipper fan? Yeah. Well,
no.
Clippers. I went to LA about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, you talking about that game? What are you talking about?
I think so.
Yeah.
Did they lose?
We lost. We lost to the Clippers.
I heard you was real mad.
We up 10 points the whole damn game. I had my Chicago Bulls stuff on. I represent every time I go to a Bears or a Bulls game, and we up the whole game. But I didn't know that the Clippers, they got a team, right? So they have
they got some
players. So I wasn't So I wasn't tracking all that. I was like, we're good to get a quick win. So when I say who they had, I'm like, damn, they got a squad. and who we got, right? Like, I'm looking at this dude, number 13, like goofy dude, man, coming on the court, man. I'm like, but we winning though. So I'm representing. We winning. So we up 10 the whole game. Come fourth quarter, man. Like 10 minutes. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, we end up losing by 10. So I'm sitting up there mad as hell. But we took a L though. Yeah, we took a L.
Yeah, man.
Ain't nothing like riding all the way up to LA just to lose.
Right. So yeah, you rubbing it in a little. Yeah, the ride back was quiet. The ride back was quiet because I'm mad because we lost, right? And but it's all good though. But so
I think I remember you posting pictures. Y'all was all decked out in your gear and everything. Yeah.
I didn't post nothing after we lost though. I came home. I didn't post nothing after we lost though. But yeah, man, I do that when Bears come to LA. They play the Chargers. I get tickets there. We go watch the game. I'm all geared out. We lost. I try to get a home game in Chicago. We went to the Bears versus Broncos at home. We lost that game in the fourth quarter. But I'm a true fan. I'm gonna stay with it, but this year the Bears gonna be different though. We're gonna be different this year. Right?
that outfit that you had on.
Yeah.
That outfit that you had on for, what was it, the swole ball?
Yeah, swole ball. The Bears.
He had the uniform was had bear stuff embedded in it or something. The cummerbund. I was like, what?
Bear down. Had to represent. Bear down. Yeah, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, they got all type of sayings, man. Bear down.
Bear down, man.
I hear it.
Bear down. Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get into this. Let's get into this do better. What you got for us, Chubb, on this do better, man?
Oh man, do better. Couple of things. I think we could do better administratively. And it's just me speaking, right? I'm not speaking on behalf of nobody, right? Man, we could do away with the collateral duties, man. Like on a ship, the administrative burden we put on ships for running a collateral duty. I mean, all the programs that we run that you're going to be in charge of when you take your command, right? But on a ship, at the tip of the spear, forward deployed, downrange, overseas. I mean, that, you asking top snipes, your CFMMs, you asking people who's running departments and running divisions and doing it well. But at the same time, I want you to run this, my UPC, my DAPA, my, all the programs, my Sailor 360 program, like all these programs on shore duty all day long. I run them real good twice on Sundays, right? But on the ship, poor connectivity and everything we do, we use internet for, right? And, so it just becomes a burden sometimes, tracking all this administrative requirements for collateral duty. So, some of our branches, we got civilians running our collateral duties, like, so for the Navy, I just think we asking a lot when I have my top performers on the ship, chiefs and first classes, and even officers, they're getting this stuff done. But what do we do? How do we reward good workers? More work. Hey, I know you're running your department at a 99% efficiency, so I'm gonna give you this collateral run as well, because I know you got the bandwidth to do it. And sometimes they don't have the bandwidth, and sometimes leadership don't have the choice but to pick somebody to do something else because it's a requirement that we have to do. You look at it like, all the programs that we run, some of them get a lot of attention. Our UPCs, our DAPA programs, senior programs, they get a lot of attention. The CFL, sub programs, they only get attention when we become dink on somebody hit list that's senior to your command, right? And then you look and be like, who's running that program, right? Like, it happens, man. It does. And then when that happens, I always tell my CEO, like, well, sir, man, look at all the good stuff we're doing, that we're doing already. Like, I remember on when we had to do that, it was a pack fleet requirement one time, maybe pack fleet. I know someone senior was saying that, what are we doing at the command to show diversity, right? And then so we had to send an email or a report of what we're doing and how we're showing diversity in our command. I told my CEO, I was like, sir, our diversity is our command. Our Sailor of the Year board, our Sailor Quarter board is made up of men and women, Black, white, Mexican, Hispanic. Our Sailor of the Year is a Sailor of the Quarter. People we map are different backgrounds. The triad is, white, Black, Mexican, female, male. That's diversity right there, man. Send them a picture of our cruise book. That's diversity, like showing what we're doing. And we winning. Like I said, we're getting all these awards, these accolades, Battle E's, Retention Excellence Award, E-SWAT. Like, we're operating at a high level of efficiency, right? That's because of our background of being diverse, and so, but it takes a lot of administrative work to make that happen. A lot, man. And I just think that sometimes we could focus on other things like, war fighting or professional development, whether it's, education or learning your craft even better. So we can fix our equipment faster on ships when we're out to sea and downrange, instead of worrying about sending this in-fast dink list because, I didn't update my recall number or something. I mean? That's just me, though, administratively. Another thing I think we could do better, if it was me, if I had the authority or the power, which I know I don't, I'm way far removed of making this decision, but the manning, right? It comes down to, war fighting and readiness. I envision manning a ship at 100% fit and feel. 100% fit and feel. Man that ship 100% fit and feel. I got that shit done, move to the next one. Get this one done, move to the next one. And at the end of the day, if I man every ship at 100 fit and feel, but I got 4 warships on a bench because I don't got enough to man them, then that's what I have. I have 4 or 5 ships sitting here that's not manned because I don't want to man a ship at a 80 fit and feel and send them out to sea because that's the risk that we're taking, right? And then you start throwing in unplanned losses. You start throwing in people getting hurt and now your man is going down. I just think we could do better of manning the ships with the force that we have. And that means leaving ships on the sideline until we can man a ship at 100%, then get them in the fight. Then we do that. I think some people miss the mark on, or what we miss sometimes is, if I got a division of 10 people, I'm running OI. I got 20 OSs. And my workload calls for 20 OSs to do maintenance and do sweepers, because, and shine brass work and all the stuff that we do, right? If it calls for 20 people to do that, then you throw in unplanned loss. You throw in somebody snatching my AIC or ASTAT because they failed to plan for their deployment, so then they're going to take mine. So my 20 personnel division goes down to 12, but the maintenance still calls for to have 20 people in your division to do that maintenance. And you still getting maintenance done, you got to side eye something. They're like, hey, hold up, man. How you getting maintenance done when you don't have the personnel to do it? In accordance with the MRC card, like they're saying, right? Mm-hmm. Man the ship at 100%. Send them down range. And if we got 4 or 5 ships left on the side until we man them, just get them in the fight, that's what I would do. But, there's a lot of risk that's associated with that. There's a lot of, money and other key factors that determines that. But just on a simplest form, just thinking about man the ship at 100% and send them down range. And if that means leaving 4 or 5 ships on the side until they're manned, I think we could do better with that.
Mm.
That's good, man. It's good. Hey, Damo, Tish, Chubbs, I have a do better too, man. It's selfish. It's a selfish do better. It's real selfish. And I know it's everybody's they own thing if they want to or not. But all people who come up, retirees and stuff, man, do a ceremony.
Sure.
Do a damn ceremony, man. I want to know about your career. I want to, see some people crying. I want to see all this stuff. Do a ceremony. I know it's selfish of me for that, man, but there's some people out there that have done some great shit, right? Good stuff. And I just want to hear about it, man. That's it. I know it's selfish of me, but do a ceremony, man.
Again, real quick, ceremonies are for our family and loved ones, right? I was at and I tell people all the time, if you're in my command, I try to talk them to doing a ceremony. And most people that when they don't do a ceremony, they regret it later, right? They're like, man, I should have had one. It's like a year or two down the road. Because they come and tell me, I should have did a ceremony, Chubbs. You was right. And that stems from me being the CMC on the stage, looking down into the crowd at a retirement ceremony, and this lady's just boo-hooing. It's like boo-hooing so much that it was a little distracting and uncomfortable. Like, man. So after the ceremony, I go up to her and I'll be like, well, congratulations. I know it's a heartfelt thing. And she's like, no, this is not my husband's retirement ceremony, or he's not kin to me. And she said, my husband retired and didn't have a ceremony. And I didn't know how big it was till I seen this one. Mm. And she was like, I didn't know this is what y'all do at a retirement ceremony. When he said, I'm not having one, in her mind, she was like, oh, a little birthday party, something. Okay, I'm not having one. It's cool. But when she saw all the honors, the tradition, and the history behind the ceremony, she lost it, man. She lost it. And so I tell people all the time, I share that story. Hey, the ceremony is for your family. Even if you don't like where you are, you didn't make Master Chief or Senior Chief or whatever. If you didn't achieve something that you want to, or you getting out not on your terms per se, the ceremony and what you did for this country and for your nation, give your family and friends opportunity to see you off right. And so I would say that piece on that. So I agree with you 100%, Dan.
Yeah, they make me proud, them ceremonies. I can't even lie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got to shout out retirees real quick. I forgot to do that at the top of the episode. We got a huge support group of retirees. A lot of people listen. A lot of retirees be listening, hitting us up, saying that they feel like they're in the Navy again when they listen to us talk. So, hey, shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all support, man. It's a strong group of retirees, man. So thank y'all for listening.
I'll retire in 2 years, April 1st, 2026.
You retiring on your birthday?
I'm retiring on my birthday, 2 years.
Nice.
Can't wait.
Man, it's funny because this shop talk right here. We ahead of the curve with our episodes, right? So that means the one that's coming out next is already done, edited, ready to go, right? it would have been crazy if we wasn't, because this episode would have came out
would have been
on your birthday, April 1st. It would have been crazy. Look, I can't even go OT because I just got home with the baby. So I can't even go OT, edit it, and do the switcheroo.
No,
I thought about it. I was like,
get your family time. Get your family time, man. That work-life balance, man. It matters, man. Get it. Don't worry about this. When it's aired, I'm pretty sure it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, man. And I'm going to brag about it. So I'm going to tell all my friends, hey, chime in, man.
Yeah.
Please do. Most definitely, man. Most definitely.
Yeah. All
right, man. Let's get into the book, Chubb. What you got for us, man?
Oh, man. I'm reading a couple of books right now, man. Some for educational purposes, some for pure entertainment. But one of the ones I'm reading for educational purpose is Black American History. So I'm reading this right now. All right. It's pretty good, man. It's by DC Cannon. It's just a timeline of historical stuff that happened in America for the Black community. And some eye-opening stuff, man. So I'm just reading that just for my own, because what we read in school is sometimes not always accurate, right? And, and in some schools, like in Florida, they taking out a whole bunch of stuff that's not
right.
That they omitting everything, right? And so I'm just reading so I can know for my own self, because when you read it from a book, you get a little bit more instead of just reading it like online or quick stuff on like online or Facebook. But if you buy the book and hold it in your hand and read it, and lots of things I do also, words I come across that I don't know or don't know how to pronounce, I write it down and I look it up, and try to use it in my vocabulary. I'm not that good at it sometimes. I'm trying to incorporate it in my vocabulary, but at least I'm like, man, now at least I know what that word means. And so I'm reading that, and I'm reading what is it? It's The Day in Rap and Hip Hop by Chuck D. Because I'm a huge hip hop artist. I got some people. The music out now right now. So I'm still listening to 80s, 90s, and 2000 rap and hip hop. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Nice, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What we got, Damo?
You brought up hip hop. I'm about to go down a whole nother rabbit hole. So, I always ask, and you don't got to answer this, Chubbs. You don't got to answer this because we about to close. But I always ask people from Chicago how they feel about Kanye now. So I'm from, I'm not from Chicago, but I fell in love with Kanye when Kanye first came out. Like to the point where it's like love, like a family member. So you forgive him, you forgive him, you forgive him, you forgive him, you forgive him. And he's right now, he just made a good album. He got a #1 album, he got a #1 single. So I always ask people like how they feel. Like Kanye, like that cousin that just, can't get right. You know what I mean? Leave him where he at.
I messes with Kanye, man. He makes some good music. He's real talented. And the stuff that he goes with on his, personal stuff, man. I'm not here to judge that. I listen to his music and it is what it is. I don't know him personally. He could probably walk by me one day, if I'm not paying attention, and not notice him. But his music, I think he's a genius. And he's there for entertainment, right? So when he drops something, we go get it, right? And sometimes he's one of those artists, you just go get his stuff before you even listen to it. Like it's a couple of them, like some people you got to listen to it first, like, okay, then I'll go get it. Right. And so, so everybody who bought that Andre 3000 without listening to, I know you're mad right now, but Kanye, one of those persons that you can just go get his music without listening to it. And, but yeah, he's up there in my top, 15, I'd say 15 rappers. So.
See, he's about to take me down the rabbit hole because you brought up the Andre. I'm shutting up, y'all. Chubbs, we got to do this again, man. Like, we got to do this again, and then we got to probably just talk about hip hop. We got to do like oh, by the way, where we just talk about music, man. Because I like debating and shit about music.
Yeah, so music, man. So everybody I know. So I battle people on Facebook, right? I set up verses. My wife was a victim at one point. My cousin was a victim at one point, and she over there smirking her face. We would do these things like you take 10 songs, whatever era you want. I take 10. We go live on Facebook. We just play it, right? So I be ethering people left and right because I love music.
I'm trying to get down. We need to do this.
I ether people left and right? Until Facebook cuts us off because sometimes you play the song too long. They like, we don't like what you're doing. Yeah. They shut us down. But no, man, music, hip hop, KRS-One, you know, huge fan. Okay. Scarface, Ice Cube. You know, I'm an old school guy, you know, coming up. So I love hip hop. So we could talk about that anytime, and we go down any rabbit hole you want to. And I'd love to come back and we could talk about anything, man. Like I think that when you, like I said, it goes back to being genuine and being who you are. Any topic, you know, even if I can't add to it, I'm listening, and then a question might come out of it. But that's still communication. That's still a convo going back and forth. Man, if I have something to add to it, oh, most definitely, man. I got you, man. Any day, twice on Sundays.
Yeah. Hey, Chubbs, look, man, I took a lot from this conversation. I appreciate it. I learned a lot. I received a lot. And this might, and I think I said this for the last 3 episodes. So for the listeners, I'm sorry. But this might be the first conversation I came into totally like 100% unprepared. Didn't know. Like I said, I just came from traveling. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I got no notes. I intentionally didn't I'm about to find you right now on Facebook and shoot you. Okay. But I ain't do none of that. I ain't want to do none of that. I just wanted to come in, and get to know you from here. And this was great for me. So I appreciate. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for giving me some game. Thanks for giving the listener some game. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, same here, man. We me and Tish came. Tish, I think Tish said something to me about it. I think, and said, "Hey, we'll bring on Chubb." I was like, "Hell yeah, we'll bring Chubb and talk with it, man." But we appreciate it, man. For the listeners out there, man. Hey, this is my CMC. You know, what I mean? Put that out there.
It was my last
CMC. and then on top of that, man, for the listeners also, when he on here talking and you guys listening, that's him. He's not making no shit up. He's not freaking saying it for the camera. He's not doing any of that. That's him every day, like he said, and on Sunday, man. So hey, again, man, thank you for coming and chat with us, man. Hope we can get you back. You know, hope we can talk about sports more too, man. Because I'm a 49er fan, and we've been going to the Super Bowl for the last 4-5 years. We just haven't won one.
We got y'all this year too in San Fran. We should go to that game. We got y'all this year in San Fran.
Yeah, I mean, we already know the outcome already. So,
oh my God.
He said, I ain't going to that. No, it's Chubbs. Damon literally took my final words right out of my mouth. The person that you are here that's just you. Right. The genuineness that you are, that's exactly my first impression of you. The way that you care about sailors, you care about the mess, you care about the mission. And a lot of times people find it hard to kind of balance all 3 of those, and family, by the way. People find it hard to balance all 3 of those or all 4 of those. And you seem to have it well balanced out. And so I just appreciate the knowledge that you spilled over. I remember watching he'd do this. Okay. And what you talked about, your first CMC tour, that was exactly how you came in to SURFPAC. I remember you sending out an email. I need a brief of every program. I was like, oh, damn. So, and that was your first all the way to now. You remain true. And so I know for a fact that the things that you're not just coming on here, just talking just to sound good. Like, you are somebody who's doing it for real.
Appreciate it.
So I thank you for your leadership, your inspiration. We need to clone. We need more people like that, especially the ones who remain true to themselves, because so many people feel like the higher up they go, they have to change and they have to be somebody else. So thank you for being true and, wearing the J's, because that sparks conversations with junior sailors, I'm sure. So thank you for that. And just keep doing what you're doing. Stay in the fight. Stay over there. I'm over here, but stay over there.
I appreciate y'all having me on, man. This is a great platform. I really appreciate the time and opportunity. And what you guys are doing are great. Like, I came across you guys by accident. I was like, man, he looks just like the guy at work talking about Damon, right? I was like, look, I work with him. And I see people like, man, she just looked like the LNC that retired from my command. And I looked at him closely. I was like, man, Damon, my command. So I asked Damon, I said, man, is this you? He go, yeah, man. I was like, I didn't even know, man. Then I started following y'all. So episode. So you guys are doing great. I appreciate it. And it's like leaders like you keep us motivated and keep me doing what I want to do. And coming on here, give me the opportunity to share this. I think every sales recruiter, you see this, bring somebody in, because you too one day could be a Command Master Chief or a C Chief running your own podcast or a retired LNC running a podcast. So just greatness everywhere, man. So I appreciate it. Be that leader. Whatever you value in a leader, be it. You could do it.